think Fernando Mendoza would be at the strip club, and every time the DJ would play like an air horn or something, he would cover his ears and say loud noises.
What made you like the under?
Have you ever done eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
Here's the lineup. Goots, please don't splurge every time I name a name. Gunnar Henderson.
Oh.
She goes on a date with this guy, goes back to his apartment, and he does Muay Thai. And he moves the coffee table out of the way and asks her if he can show her his Muay Thai moves. You know what? I'm sick and tired of this mush bullshit. If I tweet I'm going to bet somebody and something goes horribly wrong or they get injured the next play, it's like, yeah, you mushed them. I get it. Yeah. I believe in the mush. I believe in jinxes. I'm a superstitious guy when it comes to this stuff. So AC Milan is Italy.
And that's Milano. Milan is Milano. Got it. Bang. Bang. We're here with Snowman. Before we get started, I want to give you a chance to explain, is this new clean face mustache look, is this a tribute to Jeff Sunday, or did you just do this all on your own?
No, this is absolutely a tribute to Jeff Sunday. I figure if I'm going to be here in Jeff Sunday's spot, I have to have the mustache of a Jeff Sunday. Now, it looks absolutely terrible on me. No one is as handsome as Mr. Sunday to be able to pull off this mustachio look. I'm maybe a little bit more follicularly challenged than Mr. Sunday, but it has to be done. It has to be done.
I just want to say, I actually think you look great, but I wouldn't go near any schools for a couple weeks.
Oh, I think it'll be shaved off pretty shortly after the stream ends.
That's more than fair. More than fair. I want to get right into it. I do have a couple questions for you. First of all, obviously, you've probably seen our intro video a few times. We have the same intro video for 6 months. You hear my part about Fernando Mendoza at the strip club. What's your opinion? Like, how do you think Fernando Mendoza honestly is with the ladies? Do you think he's sneakily smooth? Do you think he's a virgin? What's your take?
I think Fernando Mendoza probably pulls more than any other player in the country. He feels like he has that kind of like secret nerd outlook to the public. And then in the sheets, he's just an absolute savage, just going through. And Indiana has probably the most beautiful women of any university in all of America, and they're probably all throwing themselves at him. So I'm sure he is an absolute suave ladies man. I mean, you see this all the time with like celebrities where, you know, you think they're kind of like nerdy in public, and then you see like the hot ass chicks that they're with in real life. Fernando Mendoza absolutely pulls.
Yeah. Have you ever immediately regretted asking a question?
Many times. I immediately regretted shaving the mustache, shaving the beard when I looked in the mirror after this morning.
I told this to you off stream, but when you're bald, you need facial hair, man. Or unfortunately, you look terminally ill, so that I could never pull off what you're doing right now. I respect it though. I have another thing I need your opinion on. It was the first thing I thought about when I knew I was having you come on. So obviously, you're filling in for Jeff Sunday today. We appreciate it. We're gonna treat today like a substitute teacher. Chat, today's your day. You could say whatever you want about Jeff Sunday. We won't time you out. You can ask Snowman any question. Nothing's too weird. But do you think it's insane this man went on vacation to San Francisco, California, and ate Burger King?
Oh, this Burger King tweet has done absolutely numbers for Jeff Sunday. I believe we're at close to 2 million views on his picture of a Whopper. That's it. It's not like you see the nice Sausalito Mountains in the background or wine country. It's just a Whopper. Now, I used to live in California, and I don't think I ever remember eating Burger King once outside of at LAX at the airport when it's like the only option. Yeah. I think it's just absolutely shocking that you can go to you go to San Francisco, you go to California, where there's In-N-Out, a place that you have no access to normally and is far superior to Burger King. I'm kind of the person that's of the belief that's like, if I go on vacation or I'm going somewhere away from my home city, I don't want to eat at any restaurant that I can eat in Chicago. Like, you know, unless it's, you know, like an airport type thing and you're just looking for something comfortable. If I'm going out and I want fast food, I'm getting something that's like a little bit more exclusive.
Yeah, I have that same rule on vacation, just so we're clear. No chains. Obviously, there's certain situations where you have to do it, but I'm not going to chain restaurants while I'm on vacation. But it's not just a chain restaurant. It is Burger King. It is Burger King on vacation. I haven't had Burger King since I was in high school. He did take a really good picture. Like, I'll give him credit. I don't know that you could make that fake burger look any better than he did in the picture. I'm almost wondering if he's in maybe the wrong career and he needs to get into food photography, because that was a really good picture of that burger. But we both agree, one, that meat doesn't look like cow, right? That's like squirrel or I don't know, something like that.
I think maybe it's cow, but it has maybe like all the bones mashed up into it, kind of like how McDonald's does their chicken nuggets. I don't think that's like, pure high quality 80/20 Angus ground beef.
Okay, and now here's the most important question, because my burner T-bone steak already brought it up. You watch the show enough. If I did that on my vacation, Jeff Sunday would never let me hear the end of it, right?
Oh, for sure. Jeff Sunday would be bringing up every single time that
never
there's burger talk that you went to go to Burger King when you were in California.
He would literally never shut up about it. So I'm very glad we're on the same page. I'm glad he got his 2 million views. I think that burger looked disgusting. I don't know that it made me have the urge to try Burger King ever again.
It actually gave me the urge to try it, not because it looked good, but I was more so like, I replied to his tweet and basically saying, like, how could you not go to In-N-Out? And this was one of my most controversial tweets apparently of all time, as I got a million replies, and the majority of them were actually crediting Burger King. I'm like, am I actually sleeping on Burger King? So I actually kind of do want to go, because it's been so long since I've been. Maybe Jeff Sunday is honestly, maybe Jeff Sunday. What do you think is going to be better for the Whopper sales? The Whopper commercial jingle, or Jeff Sunday's picture?
It's got to be Jeff Sunday. I mean, we went to Dayton, Ohio. Man, I forget this. There's this sub place in Dayton, Ohio, that it's apparently up there in like Ohio, in that area. I think it might be called Penn Station. It was delicious, by the way. And he posted a picture of that, and they were reaching out to him about promoting their sub shop more. So apparently, fucking Jeff has an eye for food. Maybe I'll give Burger King one try just to know if it's. But man, when I was in high school, it was actually disgusting.
Apparently, the move is tomorrow. Someone replied that they have a $3 Whopper Wednesdays on the app.
That's crazy. I don't know.
Now, have you? I know that you are probably not as fat as the snowman eating fast food, but have you downloaded all these apps? The apps are where all the deals are nowadays for these fast food restaurants.
So the only one I have, I don't think Starbucks counts. I shouldn't even admit that I have the Starbucks app, but I do. But the one that I have that does give you really good deals is Chipotle. I feel like Chipotle gives you like every 5th bowl free or something like that.
Dude, the loyalty program from Chipotle is such a game changer, because before they started the loyalty program is super new. It's like, what, 2 years old? I probably had $50,000 spent at Chipotle over the last 10 years, not getting a single fucking credit for loyalty points. I feel absolutely disrespected. I used to go probably 2 or 3 times a week back in the day when I was in college or even in high school.
Yeah, they need to give you rollover points for that, because that's absolutely insane.
For sure. They have these Chipotle cards, if you see them, for like celebrities, that gives you unlimited free Chipotle. I think Kurt Signetti is getting one, by the way. What restaurant would you most want a card like that to, where you get unlimited free food from that restaurant?
Any restaurant, or like we're talking like a fast food chain?
Well, I'm going to say any restaurant, because you could pick a restaurant that's local to you, but if you're not there, then obviously you can't use the card. So there may be more utility, more equity if you take a choice that's national.
You know what, man? It's time. I'm actually so relieved I get to speak my truth without getting any pushback, because I would get drilled if my co-host was up here. It would be Chipotle. I absolutely love Chipotle. I can't help it. Every time I say that, he reminds me that the food's disgusting, and then he goes and eats Burger King. But I just think Chipotle is the easiest, quickest, best way to get a bunch of fucking protein in. Like, I can't think of anything else that I can confidently say I'd want to eat multiple times a week. Like, Chick-fil-A is a kind of basic answer, right? Starbucks is a horrible answer. I feel like Chipotle is the only answer.
Yeah, I'm trying to think Chipotle has definitely been my answer too. I'm trying to think if there's any other, like, is there like a national sushi chain that's high quality? I don't think so.
No.
That would be goated to get. Maybe like a wings place. I don't know about Buffalo Wild Wings. They're not necessarily quality enough, but I would love to be able to get free wings.
See, like Nobu's a good one. Nobu's a good one because it's so expensive that even if you only got to go there like once a month, it's still worth it. Probably. Nobu's a really good answer. I'll say that.
Dude, if I had a free Nobu card, I would go move to somewhere that had a Nobu just so I can go there every day.
you'd almost have to, honestly.
Yeah, they have a Nobu in Vegas in Caesar's Palace. I've been there once. Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I've been there as well. I'm definitely like, not gonna lie to you, I am kind of a Nobu snob. Like when I go to a city, I do check if they have a Nobu. Like I just went to Washington, D.C. for the Sweet 16 in the Elite Eight, and I checked immediately when I knew I was flying out there if they had a Nobu, and they do, by the way, and it's very good.
What is the most obscure city that has had a Nobu?
Well, not obscure, but the two coolest I've been to, both were for bachelor parties. One in Cabo. That one was crazy, like way in the middle of nowhere. You have to like enter the security gate and then still drive 4 or 5 miles down a dirt road to get to like this Nobu hotel. And then another crazy one I went to was a bachelor party in Ibiza. That was probably the most like fancy Nobu I've been to.
I did not realize Nobu was this international. Like I knew they had the LA one. I knew there was a Vegas one, a Miami one. Apparently my mom has texted me. Apparently there's a Chicago one. Did not know that.
Yeah, I've been to that one. Been to the one in Chicago. You've never been to the Nobu in Chicago?
I didn't even know there was one here in Chicago. I might have to go this weekend.
That's absolutely insane. Yeah, we're gonna need you to go there. We got number one snowmaniac in the building, Joey Dumps.
Let's go. Joey Dumps, what do you think about my Jeff Sunday mustache?
He's gonna love it. You can do no wrong. Anything you do. You could come out here with pink and blue hair and whatever, wearing whatever, and Joey Dumps would still support you.
One of my friends actually texted me yesterday about his bachelor party, basically asking me, is this weekend good? And of course, the first thing that I had to do is look, who IU football is playing that weekend, because that's what I do nowadays, right? You got to see who IU football is playing. And they have a home game against USC. And this is the ideal scenario for me for this bachelor party, because this is an LA friend group, and there's a lot of guys there who either went to or root for USC. So I'm now incredibly excited for this bachelor party weekend, just to be able to shit talk all my friends. If IU loses to USC, I will be in such piss. It will be really bad.
Are you the only IU fan going?
That's a great question. I don't know the full guest list, but there's a chance that one more guy would be there.
Okay. I have a question. Speaking of bachelor parties, since I just brought up, is it a me guy move by my friend? And you could say it. I don't think he's in the chat. Joey Dumps knows him. Is it a me guy move to have your bachelor party in Ibiza? Because it was the most expensive thing I've literally ever done in my entire life. I'm not joking.
I think the answer has to be yes. I mean, it's one thing to say like, listen, I want to plan a party with all my boys and I want to go party in Ibiza. I don't necessarily have an issue with that, but a bachelor party where everyone has to go pay their own way to Ibiza and you kind of feel forced to attend because it's a bachelor party is definitely a me guy move, right? If you just wanted to plan, a party trip, go see Mike Posner and the boys, take some pills, and whoever wants to come can come, that's great. But it's really tough to turn down a bachelor party for one of your friends. And that is definitely a really, really expensive trip that I feel like you probably could have gotten, I don't know, 85% of the same experience in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Also, he's like a really good friend of mine because there's a certain level of friendship you have to be that I will agree to go to Ibiza for your bachelor party. So he's one of my very good friends, but also you're not married, but I'm sure you can understand this. Can you imagine walking up to your wife and saying, hey, by the way, I have to go to so-and-so's bachelor party. And she's like, oh, cool. Where's it at? Miami, Vegas, whatever. And you're like, Ibiza.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it from that perspective. That's a very tough sell.
Yeah. She looked at me like I had 3 heads for about 5 straight minutes. Not going to lie. You know what I thought was interesting? You brought it up before the stream. I would love to get your take on this. What's your take on the Brendan Sorsby? What's your take on the deal?
Yeah. So my take, are we talking about what I think is going to happen to him or just the overall thoughts on him being a degenerate gambler like all of us here in the chat?
Let's start with overall thoughts and end with what you think is going to happen to him.
My overall thoughts is Brendan Sorsby is the type of leader that I want leading my football team as a result of this. Do you know how many people were gambling on the 2022 Indiana football team? There was Brendan Sorsby and the Snowman. That was probably it. I'm pretty confident nobody else placed money on this team because the team was dog shit. Now, why did I place money on the team? Because I'm a degenerate gambler. I'm an irrational sports fan. I bet on IU pretty much every single game and just watch and hope that they win. And now in the Kurt Snetti era, it's been absolutely free money. But back then, that was the 2022 team, by the way, was the year after Michael Penix Jr. leaves, transfers to Washington. IU brings in a guy named Connor Bazelak from Mizzou, who was terrible. He ends up transferring to Bowling Green afterwards. Indiana went 4-8 in this season. They won their first 3 games of the season, then went 1-9 the rest of the way, or 1-8 the rest of the way. Their only win was against Michigan State in a double overtime game where Indiana threw 7 forward passes and ran the ball 44 times. Do you know what type of belief you have to have in your teammates? What type of belief you have to have in the brothers around you that you are with this team every single day in practice, looking like shit, playing like shit, losing every single game, and still gambling on them when you're not even on the field? That is the type of belief that you need in your team to win. Not to mention all this bullshit about him betting $1 or $2 on live pitches. For the type of money he's making in NIL, that is the greatest example of bankroll management that I have ever heard. Dude is actually an incredibly responsible gambler, and I fully support everything that he's done. Free Brennan Sorsby.
I am with you on everything, but I have to say, I was like reading about it, and yes, James, we're live on Twitch at Book It Sports. I was reading about it, and I was like, okay, this seems pretty like normal gambler stuff. Like it's not that bad. I honestly bet a bunch of these kids are gambling. Let's be honest. It's just about who gets caught, like everything else. Then I saw the pitch thing. The pitch thing is crazy. And I saw Lil Shoot 'em Up mention it. I'm not going to let anyone get away with that. I'm a degenerate. I support it, but it has to be mentioned. If you are gambling per pitch, even $2, you are a degenerate. I love it. I would love to go to a baseball game and do it, but it's so degenerate. Me, who's been gambling for literally 19 years of my life, I've never done that. I've never bet at a game pitch by pitch.
I've been close where I've been at games and I'll live bet the at-bat results, but not necessarily pitch by pitch. Yeah, I just have to think of the situation. He's at the game with his boys, a few beers deep. I mean, what's lighting $10 on fire, betting on a couple live pitches.
Yeah. I'll tell you a game I played, and I want to know if you've ever heard of this or if anyone in the chat's ever heard of it. So I went to a game with my boys. There was like 6 of us. So you take a hat, right? Everybody puts $20 in the hat.
Mm-hmm.
You hold, one person holds the hat, and then you don't pass it until the catcher goes to get a new ball from the ump. And when that happens, that person wins the money, and you pass the hat around to the next person, and it just goes around. So you just $20 everyone. The second the catcher gets a new ball from the ump, you win the pot if you're holding the hat.
I have not played that game. It sounds like a ton of fun. I have played a mound ball game where the umpire, when he throws the ball out to the mound in between innings, if he can successfully land it on the mound, that's winning the game, and you could bet against, if it's going to happen or not.
How often does that happen?
It's pretty rare. That's why it's pretty electric when he actually is able to get it on the mound.
Yeah. I was going to say, because the one game we were playing, I'd say you would probably have that happen like once every 5 or 6 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens to the ball. If that shit rolls in the dirt, if it's a foul ball, you're getting a new ball. So it was constant movement. Honestly, it was electric. It
does sound electric. I'm envisioning ways to make it even more electric, where you have to pass it every single pitch and you have to re-put money into the hat every single pitch. And the pot can get really, really big if it goes like 6, 7, 8 pitches in a row.
I bet Sorsby would very much like that game. What do you think is going to happen to him?
I believe that he will play college football in 2026. I think that them sending him to rehab was them trying to get out in front of it and kind of being like, hey, look, we're admitting fault. We're admitting that he's wrong. And won't you have some leniency on us? Look, we're sending him to rehab. Everything's all good. He bet $1 on the game. I know a lot of people are speculating that he is going to be suspended for the entire season for his actions for betting on IU while he's on the IU team. And I could definitely see that happening to a worse player, but Brennan Sorsby is one of the best players in college football. He's leading a team that is likely to go to the college football playoff, and the NCAA and college football are going to want him to play, all things considered. I would say the likely scenarios for me would be he plays college football in 2026. He goes to the supplemental draft is the second most likely option, versus he's like just fucked. I mean, I think if he'll find out pretty quickly if he's fucked. And if he does, he'll go to the supplemental draft, which is in a couple months. And then he'll be taken probably with a second round pick and be potentially. I mean, you got to, like, if you're the Rams, you got to be thinking like, we just wasted a first round pick on Ty Simpson, and we probably could have had Sorsby in the supplemental draft for the exact same value or even cheaper.
Yeah, I guess my question is this, and I don't know if there's any merit at all to what I'm about to say. I feel like Texas Tech all of a sudden has an insane amount of pull in the college football world. Like, they've immediately moved up the ranks. I know it's all money. I know it's all NIL. I know it's all oil money. Like, I understand why it is, but in my head, I agree with you. I think Sorsby's going to play because he's at Texas Tech. But I guess my question would be, what if he was the no-name quarterback at Cincinnati 2 seasons ago? Then what do you think?
They would make an example out of him for sure. And they would ban him for life. And they would say, this is what happens when you gamble on games. It's like with Jonte Porter in the NBA. They were very quick to lay the ban hammer down on Jonte Porter. But there have been other guys, and it's like they're taking their damn sweet time with Terry Rozier and giving him some sort of punishment. You know, Terry Rozier got paid for every single game this season.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
I mean, and what's funny with the Sorsby situation is Brennan Sorsby was the 3rd string quarterback on a dog shit Indiana team. He probably never expected he would actually be in a spot where he's making big NIL money and, you know, an NFL draft prospect and starting in a power program when he was gambling on those games 4 years ago at this point. Like, those are 2 completely different situations. Brennan Sorsby in 2022, fucking 3rd string on Tom Allen's depth chart versus making $6 million on NIL.
I got to glaze Jovan real quick because back in the day before this show was on Book It Sports, he would come on our show, like I think it was Tuesdays, and talk college football. He was the first person I had ever heard say Brendan Sorsby's name. And not only that, he said he was going to be good. So I give him credit for that because I had literally no idea who he was until the beginning of 2 years ago at Cincinnati. Like, I didn't even know he was on Indiana until this gambling scandal, to be completely honest with you. I had no idea. But I knew once I found that out, I knew you'd be interested to talk about it.
Yeah, I knew about him when he transferred to Cincinnati, and then when he got the starting job, all the Indiana accounts that I follow were talking about, oh, Indiana's got another starting quarterback. That's 4 in college football now. We got Penix and Peyton Ramsey and Sorsby and whoever was at IU at the time, Bazelak or whomever. But yeah, I mean, Sorsby actually tried to go back to IU this year. Fun fact. He was trying to go back to IU.
So they wanted Hoover over Sorsby?
Correct.
Yeah, correct. That's a tough one. That's pretty good options. I'm not sure if you can go wrong in college football with those 2 guys. Hopefully Hoover's not gambling, so you made the right decision.
Yeah, and I think it was just Sorsby is more of a dual threat, and I think Cignetti wants more of a pocket passer.
Yeah. Real quick, I got to answer because I've seen like 4 people in the chat bring it up. Goots Twitter did get hacked. So if you got a message from Goots, don't respond to it, but really don't respond to the link in case anyone's not aware of how this works. They're going to ask if they can ask you a question. You're going to say yes. They're going to send you a link. You click that, you're fucked. Goots, you around?
Yeah, sorry, chap.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us what happened.
I just can't get in. I woke up and it was cookie.
But did you press a link?
No, I can't even see the DMs, so I can't even press the link.
No, I mean, like, how do you think it got hacked? You didn't get anybody else like you did.
That's a great question, Steak. I have no idea.
Damn. Okay. Well, just
is your Twitter password the same as passwords to other accounts of yours?
Somewhat, yes.
Yeah, they probably found a different one of your passwords, and
and I'm trying to get back in, but I have no way of verifying it because they changed my email and everything, so it's a whole thing.
I'll say this, Goots, the same exact thing happened to Sandy. Same exact thing. So if you want me to hit him up and see who he is, because I think he got his account back pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah. I'll text you afterwards and if I need you and we'll figure it out.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you, Steak.
Prayers for Goots in the chat. Prayers for Goots. We need to get that account back. I feel like I owe you congratulations, Snowman, for 2 things. One, you're completing the trifecta. You've now been on every Book It Sports show, the BTL, the Yap, and now the board review on Book It. So W, I don't know if anyone else has pulled off the 3-peat. And then also your boy Cooper Flagg, Rookie of the Year. Did you get nervous or never a doubt?
I was definitely nervous when the odds were super heavy in favor of Knipple, but then Flagg went with like back-to-back 50-point games and kind of wrestled control back. I thought it was actually a very good debate between Flagg and Knipple, but ultimately I thought that Flagg deserved it a little bit more because the main argument for Khan was like, oh, well, he led the league in threes, which is obviously a great argument, but I think also people were like, and he was on a playoff team versus Flagg was just kind of stat padding on a shit team. But the way that I kind of viewed it is like, well, Flagg was the number 1 option on a team that had literally nobody else that, would take focus off him from a defensive perspective. And Khan was on a team that was able to have, guys like LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, take some gravity away from him and leave him wide open to, just kind of complete his role. And Khan did better in his role per se, But Flag, I think, is still the overall better player and had the overall better season. But both these players are studs, and Khan will continue to be a great player for years to come. And both these guys will probably be, all NBA team guys in the future.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think you could have went wrong. Obviously, I love Con Knipple. He's the safe word for letting chat know my wife's home. Nothing bad to say about the year that he had, but I would have given it to Cooper Flag as well. Kind of what you said. Like, everything Con Knipple did was amazing and a little more unexpected. I think everyone kind of figured that Cooper Flag would have a year like this, especially when you talk about how little help he would have on the Mavericks, how injured they were. No, obviously got rid of Anthony Davis, no Kyrie Irving, just nobody. But being the number one option versus being, what are we calling Knipple? Number two option, or number 3 option? Probably.
I feel like 3, honestly, by the time the season ended.
That's what I ultimately think that got Cooper Flag the nod. But I did see at a point how
what I think actually got Flag the win was Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham, because they played 64 games and you need 65 games to be eligible for awards. So they petitioned the NBA to be eligible. So the NBA eventually gave them the yes, you guys are eligible, and they obviously made the All-NBA teams and whatever. But it took a few days after the season for them to make their ruling, by which time Knipple shit the bed in the play-in game. And even though it's supposed to be a regular season award only, I do think him being terrible in the play-in game also helped flip people over to Flag.
Yeah, that's fair. How many games did Cooper Flag play?
Flag played the majority of them. I think he played 65 at least.
Oh, he played 65. That's okay, cool. Yeah, I think the right guy won. I'm sure Con Knipple will have a great career. I don't think he's going anywhere, but yeah, I think the right guy won. Also, we know how the NBA feels about Cooper Flag. They want their next white superstar, and I'm not talking like Jokic, Doncic white. I'm talking about from fucking Maine white. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Con is also white, to be fair.
Yeah, I know, but he wasn't the guy. Cooper Flag's been the guy for since he was a junior in high school. Yeah, I've been hearing about
Cooper Flag is definitely like the next LeBron in terms of he was hyped coming out of high school as like the future number 1 overall pick as an 18-year-old coming in and looking great right away. I definitely think in terms of the, giving accolades, they definitely wanted Cooper to win for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, Chad. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Jeff Sunday's not here to, like I said, substitute teacher. Sorry. Okay. Should we get into your favorite thing to do? A recap?
It normally is my favorite thing to do, Steak, but yesterday I was just an absolute piss all fucking day. I think I had 5 hooks yesterday. 5.
Oh, God, you're joking.
Dude,
5
I was on
in the NBA or just overall board?
I think it was 4 NBA and 1 MLB.
That sounds really disgusting.
Every NBA bet I did lost at the last second. I had Minnesota plus 11.5. Thank you, Terrence Shannon Jr. missing the wide open layup at the very end of the game. I had I had Oklahoma City minus 10.5. Gave up a last second basket to Bouye to win by 9 instead of 11. I had Desunmu points. He loses by a bucket. I had Oscar Thompson points plus rebounds. He leads the game in rebounds, doesn't hit his PR by 2. It was just piss after piss after piss yesterday, but I'm ready to recap it all.
I love that you went back to Io, though, a hot dude. I was hoping we were going to get to talk about some hot dudes today. Also, what have you been doing? Have you still been as aggressive with the K-Lays, or have we moved on to something else? Because I'd love to build something with you today when we get to the MLB.
I've still been running the K-Lays, but they've been very volatile this season. I think I've only hit 2 thus far, which is really not that bad considering that we're in April. But when you're running 1 every single day, it definitely adds up. I've been loving walk bets right now for pitchers. Pitcher walks, I think, have been really, really good so far.
Okay, that's what I think we build when we get to MLB then. And then obviously we have to ride hot dudes. I've been yesterday, I think 3 guys that homered the day before. The best one was obviously Weatherholt from the Cardinals plus 740. And then I think Aaron Judge, I forget the third guy, but we've been doing decent with those for sure. The system of homering in back-to-back days is definitely happening fairly often. So I'm excited to talk about that. But let's talk about what I want to talk about. The Detroit Pistons.
This is your show. Let's do it.
The Detroit Pistons and the Orlando Magic. Ugly. I mean, ugly basketball game. But I thought, and I'd love to get your opinion because I'm a Magic fan. So obviously I'm going to say being an 8 seed and going up 3-1 at home when you've spent your life going to Magic games is fun. I thought it was a very enjoyable ugly game. Is that a bad take?
It was definitely more enjoyable than, say, like the Cleveland-Toronto game from 2 days ago. It was a game where it felt like the defense was playing well, and it wasn't necessarily just the offense was dog shit. But that being said, it was still kind of a rough watch for a while in this game.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough watch. I saw something where the final 4:57 of the game, there was only 2 field goals made. One was the Desmond Bain 3 that banked in. I'm not sure if you saw it. Banked in. He was literally doing one of these after the shot.
I saw it. Yeah. I didn't have any action on the spread, so I wasn't as pissed about it, but I was just sweating Thompson. The Bain 3 was definitely huge, but the Pistons, I just don't understand what they're doing as a team. Like, how is Jalen Duren so much worse now than in the regular season? Because I always say, teams have to increase their level of play in the playoffs, and Orlando is certainly doing that, but I just don't understand how Duren is this bad.
Yeah, I don't understand either. I mean, you saw the Jamal Cain dunk was crazy. And he added a little emphasis to it because after he got absolutely dunked on, he falls back.
Like,
baptized him. Did I lose you?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you froze up for a second. I lost you at Jamal Cain.
Yeah, that dunk was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. He's like 6'4", dunking on a 7-foot tall center, and just as perfect posterization as you could get. I mean, that just has to be humiliating for a guy like Duren. It's not even a starter. Jamal Cain's like the 9th guy coming off the bench, and he's just putting his nuts in your face while you guys are losing as the 1 seed. And like, one of my friends texted me during the game. He's like, is Detroit the worst 1 seed of all time? I think there's a legit argument to be made that, yes, this is the worst 1 seed of all time.
I saw chat. A couple people in the chat asked that. And the only real one I guess I could give any pushback on is those Hawks teams. Those Hawks teams that I felt like were like so good in the regular season, so fun to watch, and then just choked out every playoffs. Joe Johnson, Josh Smith, Al Horford. I feel like Kyle Korver was on a couple of those teams. Forget, maybe Jeff Teague.
Paul Millsap.
Paul Millsap was definitely on some, yeah. Jeff Teague. Yeah, I feel like there's another point guard I'm missing, though. But yeah, the Pistons look really bad. Do you think it's weird they're only plus 180 to win this series?
A little bit, yes. I feel like, when Denver was slightly plus odd, that made a lot more sense given that Minnesota has 2 of their best guys out, but Orlando is healthy for the most part. And yes, Detroit's got 2 games at home, but Orlando just outright looks like the better team. I mean, yes, I think everyone's saying like they're way better than an 8 seed. And I'm still firmly convinced that they threw that game against Philly in the play-in game. I mean, how can you look what they're doing now against Detroit, look what Philly's doing against Boston, and then look at that Orlando-Philly game and say, oh yeah, both teams were playing at their, highest level. Maybe it's a good strategy for Orlando, knowing that this was a much better matchup, but I would not be buying Detroit at that price.
No, I thought it was a crazy low price, maybe a little nervous. They're also still 45-1 to win the NBA Finals, and the Magic are 175-1. Thought that was interesting. Obviously, the Magic aren't winning the Finals anyways, but those odds definitely stuck out to me. Also, to kind of back up your point, I mean, the Orlando Magic absolutely slaughtered the Charlotte Hornets in the following game to get here. The difference between the Sixers and the Hornets game was crazy. It's kind of why I've been pissed off all year as a Magic fan who goes to 20 games a year. Is because the effort is just like not there, but really like I feel like the talent is there, which now you're seeing. But the Pistons, man, I don't know what you make out of the Pistons. Cade Cunningham has 24 turnovers in 3 games, which I think is the most turnovers of any 3-game span in playoff history. I see Aloha Bet saying you can't win with Tobias Harris. I thought he was kind of the only guy making any shots yesterday. Like,
yeah, Harris is like the veteran presence that's kind of keeping them together right now. Cade is. I'm kind of willing to forgive the turnovers, even if it is a horrific 3-game run, because he has the ball in his hand every single play. So obviously his turnover numbers are going to be a little bit higher than normal. I think the Pistons' main issue is they have really no guys on the team who can get their own shot outside of Cade. So he has to just do everything for everybody. And then their salary cap is just fucked. Like, they paid Duncan Robinson way too much money. Duncan Robinson is like barely a fringe rotation player. You want him standing in the corner, and they're paying him like $20 million a year right now. So I would say it's like, the fact they're too reliant on Cade for everything. Their centers are playing terribly here in this series. And Orlando is just a more veteran playoff experienced team in general that I don't know if they weren't trying in the regular season. I don't know if this coaching situation, do you think as a Magic fan that Jamal Mosley has saved his job now as a result?
If they win the series, potentially, but the series is far from over, in my opinion. But if they win the series, I think they'll probably definitely be talking about him saving his job. Ryan Russillo had a good tweet about the Magic. He said, "This is the most talent I've seen on the team, but the shot selection is the worst I've ever seen." I mean, they were just Jalen Suggs was 1 for 13, and they weren't good shots. It wasn't like Jalen Suggs was missing good shots. Desmond Bane, who I'm totally fine giving the green light to, especially when you got Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson there to watch him, give him the green light. He went 7 for 8 in the last game. However, he was taking some awful shots too. Also, Paulo shooting jumpers is miserable. So the shot selection's so bad. That's the only way I think the Pistons catch up in the series is if they start hitting some shots. Because like yesterday, the Magic didn't hit any shots. I would never have guessed the Magic would win a game playing like that, but the Pistons just happened to play worse.
What's crazy is between the Pistons, the Magic, the Raptors, and the Cavs, one of those 4 teams is guaranteed to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah. It's going to be
Is it crazy to say? I think it's going to be Orlando.
I think people are starting to say that. I've definitely seen smart people say that Orlando's feeling like this year's Indiana. Just hard. Like as a fan, it's hard for me because like everyone thought the Magic were going to be good this year, and then they were mediocre all year, just a letdown. Now all of a sudden they want to show up to the playoffs with this intensity. It's like I can't help but be a little frustrated. I'm also obviously enjoying it. I bought my tickets to Game 6 yesterday, so if we don't win in Detroit, I'll be at Game 6. But you brought up a really good point. Duncan Robinson has been awful because he's not even doing the one thing he's good at, which is hit threes. And I don't know, he's food on defense. I mean, every single possession that he's in the game, you could tell the Orlando Magic were just looking to go to that player that was being guarded by Duncan Robinson because he's a complete liability. He's not good. And he's the one guy they have that you would say is a knockdown shooter. He's 1 for 6 from 3 in 29 minutes. Like he is just, he's been a tough watch.
Yeah. And that's, NBA, there's a lot of issues, in my opinion, with the way that the modern game is played. But defensively, the switching everything that pretty much every team does really means that, your worst defender is going to be put in action a ton in any game, and especially in the playoffs when it's not as easy to just, find these open threes as defensive intensity is a lot more so. So a lot of these guys who are really, really negative defenders are getting really exposed. Brunson, Duncan Robinson. I would actually be a little bit worried if I'm Darius Acuff. Not that we're, talking about the draft stuff, but his defense was so bad as a liability that I think a lot of teams are now going to look at this and say, well, if this is what's happening to Brunson and this is what's happening to Robinson, this is what's happening to all the other guys who are getting sought out and switched on, then this is not necessarily a guy that we can have out there on the court with this level of defense.
I think you nailed it, and we could talk about whatever the fuck we want. It's our show. There's no Jeff Sunday, no dictator here. We can talk about what we want. I'd actually love to talk about Darius Acuff because I think you're right. I think he's one of those guys that the more time that passes from you seeing him play basketball, because he's fucking electric to watch. Maybe right. Honestly, Darius Acuff might have been the most electric player in college basketball this year. Is that crazy to say? Like, I think
he was for sure offensively.
But now there's more time that passes, more time to talk about the fact that he doesn't play defense, which everybody talks about, less time seeing him on a basketball court being absolutely incredible on the offensive side of the ball. And I don't think you're wrong. I do think he's a candidate to sort of take not like plummet in the draft, but go a little later than people are thinking.
Yeah, because like the regular season and the playoffs, they're basically 2 different sports. At this point, it's pretty obvious that teams are just not trying in the regular season. They're having different strategies. I mean, how many more mid-range jump shots do we see in the playoffs? The over-unders are like 20 to 30 points lower than they are in the regular season. And a guy like Acuff might only just be a regular season type player if he doesn't improve his defense. That is for sure.
Yeah, 100%. All right, I'll ask you one more question. We can move on from the Magic. Are we starting to feel bad for Jalen Duren having to get dunked on by a G Leaguer and then immediately get to the locker room and see that your ex-girlfriend's posted it? We feeling bad for the guy or no?
A little bit, but he brought it upon himself. Like no one told you to go out and get dunked on by a 6'4" bench player. No one told you to go out and date Angel Reese. I mean, I feel bad for him in terms of like he's getting exposed as not being very good. I mean, this is a guy who made the All-Star game this year, and clearly he doesn't look like a top 4 center in the NBA, or let alone, anyone who's going to make the All-Star team. And I think that Duren is a guy who's very at risk of really tumbling down in his career from this, because this is a tough look to get back from if they do end up losing the series, where it's like you're the clear number 2 guy on the team. The number 1 guy is doing his job, but everyone else is so bad, and you're going to be the main guy blamed for this as a 1 seed losing to an 8 seed. I believe this is going to be what, if it happens, it's only the 4th time in NBA history a 1 seed is lost to the 8 seed, and that could definitely really fuck with his mental moving forward.
The only times I could think of were the Hawks team we talked about, and then there was Baron Davis Warriors. You remember that team?
Yeah, over Dirk and the Den Dallas. Yep.
And then Jimmy Butler and the Heat against the Celtics. There's no other times, right?
I believe those are the 3, correct?
Did you know that the Magic were actually an 8 seed before, up 3-1 on the Pistons, and they lost the series? Did you know that back in the day when we had Tracy McGrady?
I did not know that.
Did you know that Tracy McGrady called the series over after that game, after the game 4?
I did not know that. Wow.
Yep, that's a thing that keeps playing in my head. I have mixed feelings about Tracy McGrady. I don't know if we don't need to talk about that right now, but yeah.
Who was on that Pistons team that he lost to?
It feels like it had to be the guys, right? Like I feel like it had to be around the time like Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups. Had to be some variation of those guys.
Darko Milicic, of course.
Oh God, don't even. I would have nightmares about Darko Milicic if I was a Pistons fan. Magic have a few picks like that. Mo Bamba, Jonathan Isaac, Fran Vasquez. Okay, let's move on. That was more than enough Magic talk. I appreciate you sitting through it with me. Thunder, Suns. I don't think there's a lot to say, but I did want to get your take on a specific topic I discussed with Jeff Sunday yesterday. I think everybody in the world is just happy this series is over. I'm happy to see OKC play any step up in competition. That was truly miserable series. We're getting to the point where we should just go ahead and send OKC to the second round. I had a take yesterday, got mixed reviews. A lot of people liked it more than I thought they would. I think SGA is underappreciated. And I'm not going to give my selling point. I just off that statement alone, I want to know what you think.
All right. So overall, I'm glad the series is over. I agree. Phoenix never had a shot. And not only that, there wasn't really any good storylines. There really wasn't any good entertainment coming from it. It's not like everyone was super interested in Dylan Brooks, posing like a freak and like looking, doing the 1,000-yard stare or whatever. I mean, Jalen Green looked good, right? In that series. I think if you're a Phoenix fan, you got to be at least optimistic about how he looked in that series. But as a neutral NBA fan, yes, very glad that that's over, especially after a last-second layup fucks my spread on OKC last night. But I would say that SGA, is he underappreciated? I would say it's more so that he's overhated than underappreciated, because I think people do appreciate his level of skill and his level of talent, but everyone's too caught up on the foul baiting and the, getting the free throw line and all of that. I mean, I think he's the best player in the world right now. I mean, I might have gone with Jokic a couple weeks ago, but after how Jokic has looked in this series, I will not make that claim anymore. And at the end of the day, getting to the free throw line is part of the game. It may not be as exciting as watching made baskets. I would like to see the refs call way fewer of these fouls where the guy is jumping into you on defense. Like we saw this in the Cleveland game where Donovan Mitchell on that game-tying shot, he tried to draw the foul. He tried to like jump into the defender and then go up. I mean, yeah. I would be very strict on this if I were a ref or I were in charge. I'd say it has to be a natural shooting motion. And if the offensive guy is going, even if you think he's going a little bit out of his way to draw the foul, you're not calling it. But part of the reason why SG gets the line so often is because he's so crafty, he's so good at getting to a spot. And most of the fouls that he draws, I don't want to say all of them, but it seems like the majority of them are legitimate. So I agree with you that people give him too much hate, but I think it's not necessarily because he's underappreciated. I think people appreciate how good he is, and they just wish that he would be a little bit more of a like pure shooter, not getting the free throw line at all. But I mean, he's damn good. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree with your take as well. I just think he's sort of the poster child for foul baiting, when in all reality, it's actually just what the NBA is currently. And I also agree it needs fixing. Like the NBA needs fixing. The foul baiting's miserable. SGA definitely does it. just Jalen Brunson does it. Luka Doncic does it. A lot of people do it. A lot of people shoot a ton of free throws a game. And I feel like he's just the one we all hone in on when we discuss foul baiting. So I think overhated is actually probably a better way to put it, but I feel like we're on the same page.
And I think part of the issue is also free throw shooting is boring, right? Everyone's standing around. There's no defense being played. It takes a long time. Like a possession is 24 seconds. How long does it take for someone to shoot 2 free throws? It's like a full minute pretty much. So it's like you're spending double the amount of time on a possession at the free throw line. And it just takes a lot of time, especially at the end of the game. I would like to see some rules maybe change on that. I know that they've experimented in the G League with a one shot worth 2 points at the free throw line. I don't hate that idea, potentially going to the NBA. And I would also like to see at the end of the game them change the rules with regards to fouls. At the end of the day, the NBA is an entertainment product, and we all want to be entertained. And free throws just frankly aren't as entertaining. That's why the transition take foul exists, right? Because the NBA said, why are we letting these guys foul on what should be breakaway dunks, on what should be our highlight moments that we can push on social media? So we have to make that foul really punitive to not allow that. Well, they should do the same thing for end of game fouling too. These insane buzzer beaters, these game tying shots. That's what everyone wants to see. That's what your highlight clips are. So I would change like fouls inside the last 2 minutes to also be a lot more deleterious than they currently are now. But yes, I can't really hate on SGA for taking advantage of the game.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love if we redefined what a foul was in the NBA. I think everybody would love that. It's definitely annoying. Like in order for a guy, especially like SGA, who is absolutely going to make those 2 free throws, to go to the line, you would like to see some real contact. You're not really getting that in the NBA. So I'd love to see it change. But as it stands right now, I feel like SGA is incredible and like got to be one of the most efficient basketball players I've ever watched, honestly.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough recap for Thunder, Suns. Timberwolves, Nuggets. Obviously, you had a heartbreaker because Terrence Shannon is a bozo. I don't even know how you missed that layup. What are your takeaways from this game? I think we could call it a real solid bounce back from Jokic, right? He was efficient, 27, 12, and 16. He had the triple-double everyone said he needed. I don't think there's much bad to say about Jokic's bounce back game, right?
Yeah, Jokic played well. He played fine. Didn't have an amazing scoring game, but he definitely looked better going against Gobert than he had pretty much all series. Jamal Murray played very well in this game. I mean, I'm definitely worried if I'm a Timberwolf fan or series gambler or something like that, as I'm very concerned about where the offense is going to be coming from in this series. If Dosunmu is not scoring 40 points like he did 2 games ago. I mean, Julius Randle had a good game. He had almost 30 points. But, you know, if Julius Randle is your number one option, that's not really a pathway to success in the NBA. So I would be worried if I'm Minnesota. They're going to have another game where their defense steps up. I believe if they don't win this game 6, they will not be winning game 7. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say that. It feels like this game in Minnesota, game 6, is the game 7 for Minnesota. Without Ant and DiVincenzo, winning game 7 in Denver is not happening. I bet my life on it. But for me, the difference for the Nuggets is they finally got some support from this bench that's been pretty awful. Cam Johnson, efficient day, 8 for 13 from the field, 18 points. Spencer Jones gives him 20 points, which you never expect. Like, he finally got some help, which I guess take a little bit of the load off Jokic. You mentioned, I mean, he went under his scoring prop, so he didn't have to score that much. But, yeah, I think the next one's a must-win for Minnesota, and I'm definitely, Nuggets are minus 160 to win the series. You got to be real nervous if you're a Minnesota fan because Julius Randle cannot be the guy leading the way. And I don't know if we're getting another 43-point outing out of Io. So I don't know where it's coming from. If I could get a little bit better price on the Nuggets, I would actually take them. I wish I took them before this game. I'm dumb, but I probably will attack them to win in game 6 in Minnesota.
Maybe take Denver with the series parlayed with the Lakers to win game 5.
That's not today, is it, right? That's tomorrow?
It's tomorrow, but I love the Lakers to win tomorrow.
Is it another play of the year?
It might be. It might be. I firmly believe that this is LeBron going for the classic gentleman sweep, you know, kind of just tanking game 4 so that you can win at home in game 5. The Rockets are not a good team right now. Like, Reeves is back theoretically. I don't know if that helps or hurts the Lakers, but at home, I'm expecting the Lakers to take care of business here.
Did Kevin Durant already get ruled out for this game?
I haven't seen anything, but I'm not expecting him to play.
Yeah, that's crazy. We'll talk about. We could talk about him last. I say we go through these 3 games and then we'll let you give out anything Lakers wise you want to give out since you won't be here tomorrow. Sixers, Celtics. Anything jump off the page to you there?
I think the Sixers are done. I mean, they got their 1 win somehow on the road. I think that's kind of going to be a feather in their cap for them. Embiid came back, and I don't necessarily hate looking at some sort of like Embiid parlays or Embiid props, but I just think that Celtics are just a little bit too good here in the series. Tatum is playing phenomenal basketball, and it feels like the Embiid coming back has honestly made him a little bit clunkier too. So I think the Celtics kind of roll tonight. I would take them at -11.5.
Yeah, obviously, if Embiid says he's ready to play, you have to go with that and let him play. I really hate bringing back players in the middle of playoff series. It's not like it mattered. The Sixers weren't winning the series regardless. Like I said, bring Embiid back if he wants to play, but never really goes well, especially the first couple games of bringing a guy back. But this might be the most square thing I've ever said, but I kind of want to just keep attacking Jason Tatum. I mean, he's been absolutely incredible since he got back. Quicker recovery than I think a lot of people expected. I think I heard some people say at the beginning of this season that he would only get back if they made like the Eastern Conference Finals or the finals. He comes back in the regular season and he's playing absolutely insane basketball in the playoffs. Kind of with the hot dude thing, I almost want to take like a Tatum PRA. And yeah, this is what Straight Locks brought up. If you're a Celtics fan, I would say the way Derek White is shooting the ball is just about the only thing you have to be concerned about. He's been very, very bad shooting the ball.
Yeah, White was what 3rd team All NBA last year. I feels like absolutely crazy to look at in retrospect. He's definitely taken a huge downgrade, but Peyton Pritchard has also stepped up at times. And thankfully for the Celtics, even though he is a All NBA level player, they weren't really relying on him like all that much. He just happened to play really, really, really well. I have no issues with your read here on Tatum. The RA has been great for him. I don't have any issues with the points here. Maybe the rebounding will get a little bit worse with Embiid back, but also Tatum kind of comes in on the weak side anyway. So if whoever's the center, Kaita or Luka Garza is boxing out Embiid, Tatum can still swoop in for the rebound. I would say the hot dude theory definitely applies in the NBA, and Tatum is definitely a hot dude. So I like this read here with you. I'll probably be on it with you as well.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then I guess it did occur to me that the Sixers could be competitive in this game for a half. When I first looked at it yesterday, at some point, for some reason, Sixers first half was speaking to me. I don't know if I'm going to get there. It'd probably be the only side or total I would take in this game. I want to try to avoid like these series that, like you said, they're already over. We know they're over. We're waiting for them to end. I tried to bet the Suns game 3, didn't work out well. Obviously, you tried to bet the Thunder game 4, doesn't work out well. When the series are over, I try to leave them alone. But there is a part of me that thinks the Sixers with nothing to lose, second game Joel Embiid back, that they could be a good look first half only.
I could see that. I was going to say, I said I like Celtics 11.5, and then the more I'm thinking about it, the more it is kind of giving me OKC 10.5 vibes.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this, but speaking of Jason Tatum, I went into the Trent's breaks yesterday, bought a team. I don't know anything about cards. I have no idea if you do. But apparently I pulled an $1,800 Jason Tatum card.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very impressive. I mean, how could you not bet on Tatum after pulling a giant card of his?
I actually didn't even think about it, but I feel like I got to take triple-double, right?
So you got to take everything. Triple-double. You got to take PRA. Take like a 30 ball, 40 ball from him.
Yeah, it's a very cool card. I did not expect to hit that when I bought in. I also hit a Jalen Brunson auto. I don't think it's worth as much, but still, I was on. They're saying I was on fire yesterday in the breaks.
Very good. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, the breaks it's like parlays where you buy in for, I don't want to say a little bit, but like you can easily 6, 7, 10x your investments if you hit the right cards for sure.
I kind of see them like scratch offs. Obviously, we've spoken about my scratch off addiction. I see them like scratch offs. Like you're taking a chance to hit big or win nothing, and then there's probably not much of an in between. Like I'm not trying to hit like a $20 card or a $40 card. So like I want to go, you keep all my money or I get something that's worth 500 plus.
Yeah, you're not doing it to break even. You're doing it to win big.
Yeah. I did go to the NFL draft, and on a Heinz Field, they had a Topps tent where they were selling cards. I did hit a Ashton Genty auto on card and a Luther Burden numbered auto, which I feel like might interest you.
Yeah, W Bears. Bears.
It's a nice card. Okay, that's enough Sixers Celtics talk. I think the most interesting game of the night, unanimously, Hawks Knicks. I'm pretty excited about this game. I'm not going to say a peep. I'm going to ask your opinion on it first.
So this series feels a lot like the Pistons Magic series to me, where it feels like both teams are relatively equal, but with one team being better. And in that one, I think it's pretty clear that Orlando is better. In this one, I feel like New York is still the better team, but their coaching issues are making me so scared about hopping on them. Before this series started, the Knicks were actually my favorite pick of any series here, of not counting like, OKC or whatever, but of like the relatively competitive ones. The Knicks were my favorite to get through because I thought they were going to kind of increase their level of play. One of my main theories with the NBA playoffs is that some of these teams are not really trying hard in the regular season and then are able to raise their level of play in the playoffs, like we're seeing with Orlando right now. And the Knicks were a team I was expecting that to happen because they fired Thibodeau last year, a guy who has brought them to the Eastern Conference Finals, a guy who has given them pretty deep runs as a head coach, because they're like, hey, he's not able to get us over the top and we're trying to make the finals or trying to win the finals. So they had a decent regular season, but they also, kind of changed up the minutes. Thibodeau was kind of known for giving their guys huge minutes, 40, 45 minutes a game for some of these guys. And Mike Brown did a better job of kind of managing and getting ready for the playoffs. And then they get to the playoffs and he's just shit the bed. I mean, he's throwing out lineups that he's never done before. He's making bad substitutions. He's making bad coaching decisions. And right now it's just been to a point where I don't really trust him and the Knicks to be able to get it done. But then again, you see what happens in game 4 where they kind of roll them on the road and they look like clearly the better team. Jalen Brunson has been a big issue defensively in this series. And again, you would say that they should hopefully be able to schematically and coaching wise get him out of positions that are going to hurt the team. But the coaching has been such an issue with the Knicks that I don't really trust them. Ultimately, I feel like I have to side with the Knicks here in this game, but I don't really like it.
Yeah, I feel icky about it too, but I'm taking the Knicks, and it is completely recency bias because of the last game. I watched every second of the last game, and the whole time I was watching, I kind of said to myself, like, this is what the Knicks should have been doing all along. Like, why do we have 4 really talented guys sitting around watching Jalen Brunson play iso ball for the majority of the game? And finally, OG's involved, Cat's involved. OG takes 16 shots, Cat takes 10 shots, Hart takes 10 shots. Not that that's a little much for him, but doesn't matter. It's not just Jalen Brunson taking the shots. Miles McBride hits 3 threes off the bench. It felt like the best like team game we've seen from the Knicks, and I didn't think it was fluky or one of those things you can't expect to see next game. What I thought was fluky. Now listen, CJ McCollum's amazing. I don't got anything bad to say about him. Do I think him dropping 30 in back-to-back games was a little fluky? Sure. I think 17. What you got from him last game, he was 0 for 4 from 3, 1 for 3 from the free throw line, had 4 turnovers. Like, I think that's a bad game for him, but that's more of what I think we can expect. 17 points. If you're getting 30 from McCollum, then you're right. Jalen Brunson is just the biggest defensive liability in the entire league. But I think we get another game similar to this, which means I'm scared of props. Almost with Knicks, I'm going to attack like RA props because I don't know who's going to do the scoring, but I think the Knicks win and cover the spread.
Let me ask you a question about McCollum, because I agree McCollum has been great and kind of unexpected. Do you think that if the Hawks had Trae Young instead of McCollum, the series would be going better or worse for them?
Normally, I would say worse in any scenario except Trae Young playing the Knicks, because Trae Young turns into an absolute god playing the Knicks. Trae Young being guarded by Jalen Brunson in the series sounds like an absolute nightmare for the Knicks. Trae Young versus Knicks sounds like a nightmare. So I'd say same to better because it's the New York Knicks. But in any other situation, I would not say that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it feels like this team is playing better now with McCollum than they would have with Trae. You're 100% right about the whole Knicks factor and how he's the king of New York and all of that. But in terms of being a long-term move to get off him, to get like the young assets that they got and whatever sort of draft value and equity, it feels like they're better right now with McCollum than they would be with Trae Young.
I mean, they closed out the year piping hot, and they got guys. It's just nobody's really played that well. Like, I have this theory that Jalen Johnson will be a top 10 player in the NBA next year. I haven't been that impressed with him in the series. I haven't been impressed with Nickeil Alexander-Walker at all. I feel like he's shooting the ball pretty poorly. So I think they have a lot of guys that could blow up. Jonathan Kuminga's been pretty good off the bench, but I don't think this is the year for the Hawks. I think it'll be maybe next year, year after. But I don't think they can beat the Knicks in this series this year.
I still think they need a true one overall to be like taking that next leap. And I think Jalen Johnson could be a great number 2 guy. I think, Kuminga could be a good bench piece. Dyson Daniels is a very good perimeter defender. Like they got a bunch of good, surrounding pieces, but I still think they need that like number 1 option. I just don't know who they would get at this point. Like obviously they had a number 1 option theoretically in Trae Young, and that didn't work out. I mean, I don't know if there's a world where they could acquire Giannis, but if they could somehow get Giannis, I think this would be a very, very deadly team. And they do have some young assets that maybe theoretically could move the needle. Maybe they go out and get Durant. I don't know if Durant is really that kind of guy anymore, but I mean, he's going to be cheap and available.
A team's going to do that, aren't they?
Someone's going to get Durant. Yeah.
And he'll be a free agent. Is that how this is going to work? Because he signed a 1-year deal with the Rockets?
I'm not sure. I think they have to trade him, but don't quote me on that.
If another team mortgages or sells off their future for Kevin Durant, I don't even know what I'd say or do.
Someone's going to.
Someone's going to. Crazy. I can't believe it. People thought it was a brilliant idea last year. People were so excited about the Rockets. I don't know how you can watch this guy. I mean, he is really a cancer. He's really on a burner phone talking shit about his young teammates that he should be mentoring. That's what people do. You know how fucking excited these kids are to play with Kevin fucking Durant and have they idolized him growing up, and now he's their teammate. And he's talking shit about him on a burner phone, bailing on them in the biggest games of the year. Like, God, I used to be the biggest Kevin Durant fan, but he's such a bitch. I couldn't even imagine how anybody else would want that guy on their team around young players.
I agree with everything you're saying. I know it's going to happen, and someone's going to look at him and say, this is still Kevin fucking Durant. This is still a guy who can make shots with the best of them. And he's a multi-time champion. He's an MVP who's still playing at a high level. Someone's going to have to do it. Yeah. The him on the bench with the fake chemistry shit was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
With him like laughing over Reed. I saw a tweet that was like, this is probably the first time KD's ever talked to Reed Shepherd in his entire life. And I was like, you know what? That's probably actually true.
That is probably true and sad. And I see Roberto Herrera says everything he said on the burner was facts. I have tweeted that as well. Everything he said on the burner was facts. Still doesn't make it right. I think Jabari Smith is trash, like absolute trash. I know a lot of people try to tell me he was coming into his own. I do not think he's a very good NBA player, and I think he has a very low ceiling. So I get everything Kevin Durant says. Like, he has good basketball takes. You just shouldn't be saying shit like that about your teammates.
But then again, I mean, think about Michael Jordan. He would tell his teammates to their face they were shit. Kobe Bryant would tell his teammates to their face they were shit. Now, maybe the Durant is not saying it to their face, and that's the issue, where he's like being a pussy and doing it behind the burner phone. Yeah. But you can still call out your teammates and tell them they suck, and it's not like the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. If he said it to their face, I don't think anybody would really care.
Sure.
Because that's like a competitive thing. Didn't Jimmy Butler tell the whole Timberwolves team they sucked and then run some kind of 5-on-5 game in practice where he played
with all the bench players and then call the GM and say, like, this guy is shit, you'll never win with him? Yeah, exactly. Maybe Durant will do that. Maybe after the season ends, he's going to gather everyone up like fucking Frank Costanza and say, I got a lot of issues with you people and you're going to hear them.
Oh, God, there's no way he does that. That's the saddest thing, is you just unfortunately know he's a bitch and he's not going to do that. The sad truth about Kevin Durant, who's a great basketball player. At one point was like my favorite, man. Kevin Durant at one point was my favorite guy to watch play basketball, but he's been a rough watch. All right. So you're officially on the New York Knicks?
I think I'm leaning that way. Yeah.
Okay. And what about favorite player prop? Can be anything.
Favorite player prop in this game. I would maybe go back to McCollum here. I know he had a little bit of an off game, but being on the road, I would trust him more so than pretty much anybody else on this team to kind of go up and get their own shot. And I think they're probably going to, the Knicks did a good job kind of getting Brunson off of him last game, which means there's probably moves for the Hawks to make to get him back on Brunson this game. So being on the road, kind of being that main ball handler and scoring threat that we've seen so far, I would look at McCollum.
Okay. Points,
yeah.
McCollum points. Okay, I'm going to go back to a guy I think is the reason that the team he's on is finding success is when he is offensively involved. OG Anunoby. I like OG Anunoby, 17.5 points. I think when the Knicks have been bad in the series is when they're not forcing OG, or when they're not getting OG involved, and when they've been good, Even that entire comeback against the Hawks, obviously they fell short, but the entire comeback against the Hawks was getting OG involved. I like him over 17.5 points. That's my favorite prop. I think it's about even money. I like the Knicks to win and cover in this game.
Love that. He's a Hoosier. I also like Josh Hart, RA. Cat just had a triple-double last game. I think that obviously his assist numbers will go down, and that should lead to some more for Hart, who just barely missed his number last game, and his number actually went up from 12.5 to 13.5 with heavy juice tonight. So I think he gets pretty heavily involved.
I think we might have just cooked something then, because we can get also a resident Knicks fan, Hobie, Cat assists. He's usually pretty good with Knicks props, so maybe we just cooked up a little SGP. RA, Josh Hart, points McCollum, points OG, Cat assists.
I like it. I like that a lot.
We'll go to the next game, Spurs, Blazers. I like starting off with you. I like hearing what you have to say first before I give any feedback.
All right, Spurs and Blazers. Back in San Antonio, Spurs are currently sitting at a 11.5 point number. Number feels a little bit too high. I know that this is basically the same number that they were the first couple games at home, but I think Portland has been feisty enough that they're ready to kind of keep this game close. The issue for Portland is they've really struggled when Wembanyama's on the court, which is not really a great thing when Wembanyama is the best player and he's going to be on the court and his concussion is over. But I just got to think that the Blazers have enough pride. They have enough tenacity. They have enough fight that they're going to keep it close. We also saw the end of the game fight last game between Castle and Avija, and I do think the Blazers are going to kind of rally off that. I think it's too many points, and I like the Blazers at 11.5.
Yeah, it's been an interesting series. And so wait, you like the Blazers?
I like the Blazers. I think they keep it close at 11.5 tonight. Yeah.
Didn't expect that. Okay. It's been an interesting series. When Portland won that game 2, and then also Wemby had the concussion where people were like, he could be out the next 3 games. I was talking to Jeff Sunday and I said, like, something weird has happened in this series where all of a sudden a team that had no pressure, there was no pressure for Portland. They won the play-in game. Nobody expected. No one expected them to be in the playoffs. No one expected any of this from Portland whatsoever. They're playing with house money against a pretty unexperienced but really talented roster in the Spurs. But then they win that game 2. Wemby gets hurt, and all of a sudden they go back home and there's pressure. And honestly, they showed up for a large portion of that game 3, but boy, did they choke it away. Boy, did they choke it away. Down 2-1, and then game 4, they're up 17 points at half. Amazing first half performance. Place is rocking. One of the worst second halves I have ever seen. Like, I think you had commented and said, nothing was worse than Raptors Cavs. The Blazers' performance in the second half of that game 4 was truly just abysmal, awful basketball. It looked like the Brooklyn Nets purposely losing game 70 of the year. Like, it was so bad. But now we're back to the thing. There's no pressure on the Blazers. It's gone. The series is over. No one thinks they have a fucking chance. And I don't think they have a chance either. But do I think they might cover in this game? Because in a lot of situations like this where the pressure's off, and you just get to go out and play loose. Like I said, it's over. Series is over. They're not winning regardless, even if they're competitive in this game. It's like one of those things that I feel like makes sense by making no sense at all. And so I kind of lean the Blazers as well. Just not that I don't think they have a chance to win. I think they have a chance to keep it close.
Have you been following the situation with Portland and their cheap owner?
I mean, I know those details, but I don't know much.
So the current head coach is Thiago Splitter, former San Antonio Spur. Obviously, the head coach going into this year was Chauncey Billups, who has been fired for being a degenerate gambler and fraudster. And apparently, they have told the coach that they are not going to retain him because he's asking for too much money. And they're going out and they're trying to get guys. And like, apparently, they went out to the St. Louis coach, Josh Scherz, the college coach, and they offered him $1 million, and he literally pulled $1 million a year to coach the Blazers. And he literally said, "What the fuck are you doing? I make more than that right now."
That's crazy.
At the University of St. Louis.
Crazy.
So it's looking like Thiago Splitter will not be the head coach next year. And that means that this could be the last game. And I actually think that the team likes Splitter and likes playing for him. So I think they could be a little more motivated for this game as well to try to, keep him around and maybe even get him the job.
Okay. I get. So who do you like? Give me a Blazer. Give me a Blazer that you like.
Give me a Blazer. I like Drew Holiday.
Okay, and how do you want to attack it?
16.5 points.
Just points.
Just points.
Okay, don't hate that at all. I don't ever hate betting on Drew Holiday. I saw Straight Locks in here who's really, really good at NBA props say, feed me scoot unders again. He's bitched out of this series a little bit after getting into it with Dylan Harper. I don't think he wasn't the one who got dunked on by Dylan Harper, but I still feel like he got little broed by him with how good Dylan Harper played in that game and how bad Scoot has played ever since. He's definitely not a guy I'd want to buy into. I'm trying to think of who I would want to go. Am I crazy to like De'Aaron Fox?
No, he's been hot. He's been playing well. He's got the veteran experience on this team. I don't hate it at all. I mean, especially in a game like this where the Spurs are 11.5-point favorites and Wemby might be a little bit more willing to let the other guys shine in a game that's a little bit less important for them because they still have two others. If it loses, I don't hate Fox at all.
I have this theory where he's just a way better Robin than a Batman. And I had mentioned it when Wemby was out. I was like, I don't want to back De'Aaron Fox as the number one scoring option. I just can't do it. Number two option, though, I do like him a lot more in that spot. So I know it's weird to like the Blazers, but also like De'Aaron Fox. But I do think my favorite prop in the game is De'Aaron Fox over 17.5.
No, I don't think that's weird at all, because if we like the Blazers to cover and keep it close, then that will put pressure on the Spurs and their best players to continue to score. Like if it's a huge blowout, then Fox is going to be way more likely to try to get Harper involved or Vassell or Champagny. But if it's close, then he's got to, kind of force the hand a little bit more so and get to the basket.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think that's pretty solid NBA. I'll give you an opportunity if you want to say anything more about the Lakers game tomorrow. I didn't know if it had play of the year potential. You obviously nailed the Lakers, the game 3. I tailed you. Thank you for that. Nasty play. I know most of the sharp minds were on the Rockets in that game. That's where my brain took me to. Like, okay, this is just a crazy line. The Rockets have to kill him here, but then you peel it back and you're like, wait a second. I'm not putting in my hard-earned money on the Rockets minus 9.5. Seems to be a lot of people are doing that. So great read by you. Do you want to say anything about the next Lakers game coming up before we go to MLB?
Yeah, so I looked yesterday and they were minus 2.5. I'm looking now and they are minus 4.5. So I do think that means Durant is going to be out. Otherwise, that is a pretty harsh.
I think Pat confirmed that earlier when I asked.
Yeah, and he's not listed on the books right now for points. I think the Lakers are definitely a play here. The Rockets team is just bad. I mean, they won. Yes, they won game 4, but that was never a game that we thought the Lakers would compete in. In NBA, we see this a lot. It's called a gentleman's sweep. When you're up 3-0, you lose game 4, you go back home, you win 5 in the game 5 in front of your home fans. That's almost exactly what I saw here, word for word, before game 4. Nothing has changed to make me think that. LeBron played horribly in game 4. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. He was going to take the day off. I think the Lakers will absolutely splooge here, and the fact that the line is moving up, Lakers might be a nuke tomorrow for sure. I think I'll be on them for sure. It's all about how much.
Cool. All right, I'll probably join you. I want to get one more Rockets fade in before it's all over. I see Cam is money saying Reeves is probably playing too. I was not aware of that. I knew he's coming back soon, but I didn't know it's game 5. That's pretty crazy. That's massive if that happens.
Yeah, he was rumored to potentially come back game 4. It was listed on the books and then last second ruled out. I actually kind of expect that exact thing to happen again.
Ruled out again?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play.
I kind of think I agree with you. I don't think he's going to play either. I think they feel like they got this series in the bag and they'll bring him back for next series when he'll very clearly be needed.
But I do agree with Dig Dat. I don't think KD is playing another game in a Rockets uniform.
I 1,000,000% agree with that statement. Okay, we'll get to MLB. We got plenty of time to go over the board. Would love to hear, obviously, and you don't have to force it, but if you want to run a walk lay, K lay, I try to go easy on the home runs, the hot dudes on Dinger Tuesday. Might be silly, but I feel like they don't hit as much on Tuesdays at all, but I'll still be bringing them up every game, guys who homered in their last one. So let's start it off with Rays and Guardians. I have Biev versus Martinez on the mound. I don't know what your success rate is with fading the Rays or the Guardians or if you've done it at all, but I find these to be two of the most obnoxious teams to bet against. I don't know what it is. Rays specifically. Like I have the Rays season total under, win total under. Horrible wager. I don't even know what I was thinking. I just really felt like they were due for the year where they don't overperform. It feels like they do it every year. They've won 5 games in a row. Guardians have lost 4 out of 5. Bybee gets a lot of respect, but is 131 kind of crazy with the Guardians being favored here? Or is it just another simple thing where the Rays just simply don't get any respect?
Yeah, I think it's the Rays just not getting respect. I mean, I don't necessarily know that Nick Martinez is like the biggest name out there over Tanner Bybee. That's like, oh, we got to lean towards the Rays. In terms of a prop perspective, neither of these teams really strike out a lot, so they're kind of tough to fade from that perspective. Tampa this year especially, I would say they're the most improved team in all of baseball in terms of not striking out. They do a really good job of putting the ball in play. I believe they're the second lowest strikeout rate team in all of baseball this year. But I would say the line does feel a little bit short. Cleveland has been solid, but I think Tampa's being a little bit underrated in the situation. I would like Tampa here in this game.
Okay, cool. Because I'm the way that I am, and I have this undying respect for the guards, I would lean guards in this game. The hot dudes, it feels like Yandy Diaz has been a hot dude all year. Jonathan Aranda homered yesterday. Daniel Schneemann homered yesterday. Their system guys, I don't actually want to go back to them. I don't really like any props in this game, just a strong lean to the Guardians.
I don't mind Aranda to go back to back. He looks pretty solid here.
I'm sure the value will be good. That I can say.
Yeah.
All right. Astros, Orioles. Looks like we got. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know who Shane Baz is. I have no clue who's pitching for the Astros. K-Way Tang. You familiar?
K-Way Tang. I think this is a season debut. I believe he was on. Maybe he was on the Astros last year.
I'm not super familiar whatsoever, but I do have. And sorry, Goots, if you're here, I apologize. The second I woke up this morning and I had a DM from Goots at 6 a.m. realizing he was hacked, I knew that I was going to fade the Orioles today. So it's just a system play. If your Twitter gets hacked, I fade your team. Once again, not personal, Goots. Still love you, but I will be taking the Astros money on. Go ahead.
I think that has to be done. I think you're completely right. The Goots fade for being hacked. The line also feels a little bit fat in favor of Baltimore. Maybe Houston has been struggling more so than I realized, but I don't know if Shane Baz should be minus 135, even if he is going against a bullpen starter making his first start of the year.
Yeah, I have no idea if he's a bullpen guy. He's pitched 14 innings. He's 1-1. Hasn't been horrible. Hot dude, Christian Walker for the Astros. I don't remember if it was 3 games in a row. He definitely homered 2 games in a row. He's the hot dude for the Astros that I'll 100% be going back to. And then for the Orioles.
Did Jordan hit yesterday or no?
Well, they didn't play yesterday.
He's been hot as well.
Yeah, I think he's been the hottest hitter in the MLB. I think you could take him every day if you want to, I feel like. Samuel Basallo and Gunnar Henderson homered in the last game for the Orioles. Gunnar Henderson might be a guy to go back to as well. So hot dudes, Christian Walker, Jordan, always hot, Gunnar Henderson. Any props stick out to you in this one?
Pitching wise, no. I like Gunnar too. I think he looks solid for HRR/home run.
Okay, so that might be our collab hot dude. We'll see if we find another one. Rockies Reds in Cincinnati. This is an interesting series. Kyle Freeland going against Chase Burns. I mean, man, minus 207. It's crazy to call it minus 207 short. But
minus 207 feels very short. I can't believe they're not minus 300 here with Chase Burns on the mound.
Literally what I was thinking.
I mean, Burns is the squarest K guy of the day. So, shout out Square Man Sports. I feel like I have no choice but to be on him. I mean, Colorado has been the number 1 matchup or number 2 matchup right now in baseball for striking out. This is not a particularly good lineup. With your hot dude theory, I have a young dudes with good stuff theory, where if you have these first-time matchups or second-time matchups against some of these guys who have never seen you before, well, that's a great sign. Burns has seen Colorado only once before last year, 10 Ks in 6 innings, and only 3 guys on the team have ever seen him before. I think Burns has to be played for strikeouts for sure today.
Yeah, I think I'm with you 100%. I think I'm with you. Does that mean you like the Reds?
Not per se. I think that you can like a guy to get strikeouts and not necessarily think that the team is going to win overall, but I still do think that the Reds get it done here. Yes. The only thing that really concerned me is how short this line is, but I kind of will give it to the fact that it is, Colorado hasn't been playing terribly recently, but I won't be playing the Reds. I just lean them because I do think Burns goes out and shoves.
Rockies are also coming off a series in New York where they swept the Mets and only gave up 4 runs. Cam's saying he sees Sagano, and I'm not sure about that, but what I'm looking at shows Kyle Freeland. If it's Sagano, I still feel
the Mets are like the worst team in the league. It's absolutely shocking. I saw the chat was kind of buzzing a little bit earlier that the Phillies fired their manager. I don't know if you saw that. Cannot believe that the Phillies fired the manager before the Mets fired their manager.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And after the Red Sox won in dominant fashion after they fired their manager, I would feel like the Phillies are probably an auto bet today, but we'll wait till we get there. Hot dude, Hunter Goodman.
Hunter Goodman.
No, go ahead.
On Sunday, I was talking to this guy who was like bitching about some of his parlay losses, and he was like showing me his Blue Book account, and he has like a bunch of parlay losses with the Mets money line being the only leg that lost. So I'm just like, dude, like, why are you betting on the Mets? Like, I don't really feel bad for you when you're placing like 6-leg money line MLB parlays and you're betting on the fucking Mets at -200.
Have you ever been that type of gambler? And the reason I ask, because I kind of feel like it's a really good lesson. I have many times in my life been the guy that says like, no shot. If this team is due to win and I'm going to bet them until they win, I'm not going to give up on this. Like I think it's called martingaling. Like I've done it with players. It's funny because that's kind of where the hot dude thing came from. Is I was talking with Jeff one day. I'm like, dude, people will literally bet a team that lost 7 games in a row to win their 8th game and then act like they did something. It's like, no, you lost 7 times before that. Like now you're celebrating the 8th time, whereas hot teams stay hot and hot players stay hot all the time. And it feels like people don't want to do that. Catching the falling knife. Absolutely. I have stopped doing it as a gambler and it's helped me immensely because I used to do it all the time.
Yeah, same. I used to do it all the time. In fact, I created one of my 10 gambling commandments. A team can stay hot longer than you can stay solvent. So like, you can keep trying to fade a team over and over and it just doesn't work out. I've been there many times before where I'm like, oh, this team is definitely due. This definitely due. It can't keep happening. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're right. They can't lose 6 in a row. They can't lose 7 in a row. They can't lose 8 in a row. They can't lose 9 in a row. And boom, you finally got it right. They can't lose 10 in a row. Meanwhile, you're down 4 or 5 units from fading them every single time. That's part of the reason why I switched to my overall general strategy, where it's like, people like to, kind of shit on me a little bit because it's like, oh, he takes Cooper Flag every single game. But it's like, okay, fine. If you can find a bet that you think is going to hit 55, 60% of the time, if you take it every single game, you are going to make money over the course of the year, just period.
Yeah. Where can we find the Snowman's 10 gambling commandments? Is it somewhere posted?
I have to create the actual. I only have like 4 or 5 hard and fast ones. It's been a content thing I've been working on. I definitely want to get that up, but
so it hasn't been completed yet.
Hasn't been completed, hasn't been posted. Definitely a content idea that's in my brain.
That is absolutely something I want to be a part of when it's finished. I want to make myself very clear.
Okay, absolutely.
All right, next game.
I'd love to hear any of your gambling commandments also from you and the chat if you guys have anything that needs to be in there.
Yeah,
some of the rules. Michigan always fucks me. Never chase. Stay within your bankroll.
I'll come up with some good ones for you on the spot. I can't think of any. I definitely will take some from the chat. I always say this chat is sharper than me for sure.
I like this one from whoever's on the Book It Sports account, fading dudes that say "we" when speaking of their team. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah. See, I used to be that guy too. I
am that guy still with IU, but to be fair, with how much tuition money I paid that school, I'm damn well counting myself as we.
Yeah, you went to school there. See, the problem is I think alumni gets a little more of that. Like, I'm a Florida Gators fan. I barely finished 2 years of community college. I'm not calling the Florida Gators we at 36 years old. And my older sisters went there. That's why I'm a fan. But like, you're alumni. I feel like that's a lot more fair.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll also occasionally say we about the Bears. I mean, it's tough not to feel involved.
Yes. And okay. There's another topic because we both feel really differently about this. I can't bet on my teams. I actually am more likely if I want to win a game really badly, like I didn't do it last night, but I thought about betting the Pistons because I was like, God, I want this one so much. I want this fucking game in Orlando so bad to go up 3-1 that there's a price I would pay to win this game. And I know I'm not going to say the price, but there's a price I would have paid yesterday for the Magic to win. So in my head, and I've always been this way, I would bet the opposing team and I would call it an emotional hedge. I've done it for a very long time. I never really got any flack for it until I joined gambling Twitter and talked to guys like Biev. and Biev is a Vikings fan like me who bets the Vikings every game. I think there was a time where he would bet the Twins every game. And I already feel just like I felt shitty about the Magic all year just because we were so disappointed. I was so excited, paid so much for season tickets. We're a young team. We paid Suggs, Paulo, and Franz $600 million or something like that. And they're such a letdown that I couldn't imagine if I was like betting on them every game. So I'm sure I know you like to bet on IU. Obviously, it's been very profitable for you. But have you always been a guy who bets on your teams?
Yeah, I mean, even when IU was shit, I was betting on them pretty much every single game. I was going back when I saw the Brennan Sorsby thing yesterday. I was going back and trying to see some screenshots from the 2022 season, and there were way too many IU football on those screenshots, and which is crazy because I wasn't posting. I wasn't back then. The Snowman didn't even exist. There was no Snowman Twitter, no Snowman Twitch. No one had ever called me the Snowman in my entire life. That was just me taking screenshots to send to my friends pretty much. And there were still a lot of IU football ones in there. So yeah, I've always been a guy who bets on my teams. Now I definitely get the emotional hedge. I've never really been a kind of guy that can fade my team. I will fade if I think it's like the right spot to, but I don't really do the, well, I use the national championship. Let me bet Miami money line because then either my team wins or I make a bunch of coin. I was on IU minus 7.5 in the Natty and lost, but I also had the IU future plus 3,500 and got the job done.
Yeah, see, doubling down on the Natty. You're a sick man. You're a sick man. And I see Swizz saying you can't get behind betting on against your team because it's saying you want them to lose. I want to make myself very clear. It is the opposite. I want them to not lose so bad that I would pay a price for it. That's all I'm saying. Like, there's a price I would have paid yesterday. I'm glad I didn't do it, but there's a price I would have paid yesterday for a Magic victory. That moment may come here in the playoffs soon because I think the Pistons are going to win game 5. Then I'll be at game 6. And then we don't win game 6. You're going back to Detroit for 7. Just saying there's a price I would pay to win that game. So the emotional hedge, I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but I know a lot of people, specifically Biev, think it's being a bad fan. And I understand that point of view.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily that you're rooting for them to lose. It's just also sometimes they're going to lose. Like there have been times as an IU basketball fan where I've been like, I know IU is losing this game, and I faded them. And you know what? I've been pretty accurate in those fade spots. Any team you watch a ton, pretty well at the end of the day.
That would be me every single time the Vikings are in the playoffs. Every single time the Vikings are in the playoffs. Gav, I'd say if we had a collapse so far, it'd be Gunnar Henderson to go yard. Is that a fair take?
Yeah,
Gunnar Henderson
so far.
There's your answer. Okay. Next game, we talked about it a little bit. Fired manager system. Giants, Phillies. Looks like Lazardo against Molly.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of have no choice but to hop on the Phils here in this situation.
I 100% agree, but we have a little bit of an issue because I don't think we want to lay minus 171, right?
I agree. Is this who we pair up with Denver to win the series at minus 160?
Damn, I don't hate that at all. Maybe we just pair it up with Denver money line in game 6, right? No, because you're saying we're basically both agree it's free in 7, right? They're winning in 7 if they get there.
Right. Yeah, I guess there still is a theoretical chance they could lose game 6. It could be Phillies minus 1. Lay the 1 minus 1.
Okay, that might be the move. That might have to happen. Phillies minus 1. Also, in their last game, Schwarber homered. I think that's a hot dude you got to go back to, right?
I mean, and Schwarber's a Hoosier.
Oh, God. See, I didn't know that. I learn about a new Hoosier every fucking time I do a show with you. I really do.
There's so many of us out there in such elite positions in life.
That's so funny. Casey Schmidt, I think someone in the chat said it. He's the guy who homered in the last game for the Giants. I'm going to respectfully pass on betting on Casey Schmidt in this game because I like the Phillies. But
did Harper also homer in the last game? Because I know he's been very hot recently too.
No, he didn't homer, but yeah, he has been hot. Hold on one second. Steak, I'm taking your Tatum to the cart. Yeah, please do. Thank you very much, Trent. Thank you.
W Card Spa. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I heard him talk about it yesterday. I was like, dude, that sounds fucking ridiculous, but I'm into it. I hope I don't get too addicted to cards. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, the good thing with cards is like you have some floor of where you're going to make money back. Because like, yes, I guess there's chances you can enter breaks and get literally nothing. But if you do get some stuff, it's not like you're going to lose 100% of your initial investment.
Yeah, for sure.
Apparently, you've been killing it, so you're probably even up.
I like thinking about them like having stock in a player. I think that's fun. Like getting a young player you're really into, buying stock into a player. I tried that with Anthony Richardson, didn't work out well, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Okay, let's move on. Cardinals.
Unfortunately, all the guys that I've wanted to invest in recently are like a little bit too hyped. Like I can't really get investing in Cooper Flagg or Fernando Mendoza coming up when the number 1 overall picks cards are going to go for fucking thousands.
Yeah, I have seen absolutely most absurd Cooper Flagg prices on some of these cards. Just absurd. Unspeakable numbers on Cooper Flagg cards. Yeah.
It's because it's all speculation in trading cards, and Flagg could easily become a top 5 NBA player.
Yeah, I think most people already kind of think that's the trajectory, hence why you can't buy him. It's not like if you bought a bunch of Cooper Flagg cards and he becomes top 5, you make any money. You honestly probably wouldn't.
Yeah, that's just that's just the break even if he continues on. He needs to become literally like the best player in the NBA to make money on him.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to the next one. Cardinals, Pirates in Pittsburgh. There was no baseball game when I was in Pittsburgh. Pretty sick about it. The stadium was absolutely beautiful. Like a beautiful, beautiful baseball stadium. I would have loved to catch a game. Cam, if you're here and you know who's pitching for the Pirates, let me know. I'm showing undecided. Kyle Leahy for the Cardinals. Not super familiar with him. He's not pitching very well this year. Pirates lost to the Cardinals yesterday, 4-2. And it's weird. Do we have a line on this one with an undecided pitcher? It looks like we are looking at Pittsburgh -156, which doesn't surprise me at all. Braxton Ashcraft, thank you. So Braxton Ashcraft is pitching for the Pirates.
Ashcraft. If it's Ashcraft, then I definitely think the Pirates would be the play here. I don't think Leahy is all that good at all. Now, maybe it's because I bet on him once for strikeouts and he absolutely shit the bed. But I think the Cardinals in general are not a very good team. And while they are playing okay offensively, I think Ashcraft is pretty solid. I would lean with the Pirates here.
Me too. And I would lean with the Pirates as well in the bounce back. The guy that has to be talked about is J.J. Weatherholt. He hit the 2-run homer. I think it was in the top of the 9th inning to tie this one. That was his 3rd game in a row homering. He was +740. We hit him yesterday. He was the best hot dude to have yesterday. There's just no way I don't go back to him. I 100% have to go back to him. But I do lean the Pirates, and I might even get there with the Pirates.
Yeah, Weatherholt's been insane. Jordan Walker has also been mashing. He's been a little bit cold as of recent. Yeah. But this does seem like a good opportunity for him to maybe get caught back up. But yeah, Weatherholt is definitely the hot dude.
You know why Jordan Walker's cold is because he hit a home run like 5 games in a row, and me and Degen didn't bet him one time. And then we finally said, okay, let's bet Jordan Walker. He's the hottest dude in MLB. I don't think he's hit a home run since we did that.
Yeah, you chased too late, I guess. Shit.
Yeah. That's another thing, like talking about gambling commandments. There's a wave, and if you didn't start riding the wave at the beginning, I personally don't think you should try to jump on a hot wave at all. Never
completely agree. In fact, I'm gonna write that down as potential gambling commandments. Don't join
catch the wave early. Can't wait.
1,000%. Because like, yeah, if anyone who is betting on streaks too late, it's like that's when it fucking blows. Like, look at Trent when he went on the Murakami home run. The one time he bet it was like the one game Murakami didn't hit a home run.
Yeah, it kind of pissed me off. I don't want the White Sox to get so popular that everyone's betting them every game, but it's okay. We're gonna.
Do you think Murakami will get traded? Because I started seeing some of that talk yesterday and today.
Who's the guy? White Sox Dave? Is that the big White Sox fan? Or I think it's White Sox Dave.
The Barstool guy?
Yeah, exactly. He said if they let go of Murakami after 2 years, no one should ever step foot in that stadium again. I mean, how do you not say that? It's just crazy. He is the real deal. The White Sox ironically do have some talent, which is hilarious to say. There's some dudes on that team for sure.
If the White Sox were to trade Murakami, it would obviously be to the Dodgers, correct?
That would just be the most disgusting thing ever. I know it's possible, but fuck, that'd be so gross.
I feel like that was what invariably would happen, and that would just lead to the lockout immediately.
Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't, Cam. I'm sure you wouldn't. Yeah, I know. Seriously. Okay, next game. Also, people brought up Torque in the chat. I can't wait to glaze him. He's my favorite player in the MLB right now, but I'm going to wait till we get to the Tigers game. Next game is Red Sox, Blue Jays. Savage against Tolley. Another guy for the Red Sox I'm not all that familiar with. Are you? Peyton Tolley?
Yeah, so Toll had a huge strikeout game in his last start. Like, I think he had like 8 or 9 Ks. but Toronto is the singular worst matchup in all of baseball to get strikeouts against.
Okay, yeah, I see this 11 Ks in 6 innings for him. He's actually been pitching really well. And then Savage is making his season debut. Yep, there you go. We got a debutant.
Yeah, so Savage making his debut, but if you remember, he pitched last year and pitched in the playoffs and pitched in the World Series and was electric. He was absolutely lights out. I was surprised he didn't start on the roster opening day. I'm assuming it's some sort of, bullshit service time manipulations type thing, but I do not hate the idea of going to Savage here. The main issue is going to be like, how deep does he go in the game? What's his pitch count going to be? But at a 5.5K number, I'm very intrigued.
Chat saying Savage was hurt, which makes perfect sense. I have a system where I bet debutantes making their first start of the year, regardless of what they were last year. I'm taking Savage. Give me the Blue Jays money line. And also, Red Sox got their win after they fired their manager. I don't think the Red Sox are very good. I'm happy to fade him here. I'll go Red Sox. I'm sorry, I'll go Blue Jays.
Yeah, I like Blue Jays. I like Savage Ks.
Perfect, because there's no hot dudes to really talk about. So Savage Ks. I'm 100% in on Savage Ks. Did we also said we like Chase Burns case?
Burns case, yep.
Burns and Savage is who we have so far. The absolute dog water New York Mets are minus 186 today against the Nationals. Littell versus Holmes. I mean, you just have no fucking business betting the New York Mets, right? At any price.
I mean, I will be on Washington here. There's just no chance I will ever take any of the Mets at minus 180 right now. The Mets are a horrible team, just horrible. They're playing bad baseball. They don't want to be there. They can't hit. They can't pitch. Washington feels free.
Yeah, I know. They just came out of winning a series against the White Sox where 2 of the 3 games went to extra innings. Mets just got swept by the Rockies. We discussed it. They scored 4 runs in 3 games. I'm not going to bet this game, and there's no real hot dudes to talk about. I assume you don't like either of these pitchers, right?
No, definitely not. Holmes, ever since he joined the Mets and left the bullpen, has been like one of the worst K guys to bet on. He was a great strikeout guy when he was in the bullpen, but he definitely is a guy who's like, okay, I got to take a lot off to go 5-6 innings now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We don't need to get cute there. This is a fun one. Tigers, Braves in Atlanta. Perez versus Casey Mize. Both guys pitching pretty decently. As mentioned, I will glaze the shit out of Spencer Torkelson, who I think has homered 5 games in a row. He's just been paying my bills, literally. So naturally, I will be betting him again. I always find a player from the Detroit Tigers. I don't know what it is. I have a thing for Detroit. I don't know if you'll like that or not like that. I shouldn't say that during this Magic series, but I always find myself being on the Lions or the Tigers or some version of that. Last year is Kerry Carpenter. This year it's Spencer Torkelson. So he's in must. Tigers are catching my eye. They are even money in Atlanta. Been one of the better teams in the MLB this year. I think they have yet to lose a series. Atlanta's the only team in the MLB that has yet to lose a series. Tigers are coming off losing a series at Cincinnati. I think I'll lean the Tigers here.
The line is kind of the only thing that's pushing me towards the Tigers, and it does feel a little bit short, but I think it's also due to the pitching matchup. Perez is, kind of a no-name guy, and Mize has actually been really solid as of recent. He's been kind of splooging in the strikeout department. Now, Atlanta is a team that's been very good at not striking out, but I don't know. I think Atlanta here is the play. It's just a line read for anything for me at the Tigers. I'll probably stay off it, though, if you're saying that the line feels like it's Tigers for you, though.
Yeah, but
the line does feel short, Sage.
It feels short to me, too. I'm the opposite of an MLB sharp, but yeah, it feels a little short. Nothing crazy. Tigers get respect. They've had a rocky year, to say the least. They were really bad to start. They've been decent recently, but I do lean Tigers, but my most fun play is Torkelson. Do you like either of the pitchers?
Not really, no. Mize has been super hot, but the Braves are a shit matchup, and at least at the data site that I use, the Braves look like a very good matchup against Detroit here. Maybe an over spot. Honestly, I could see a lot of runs in this game.
Okay, I'm really excited to talk about this next game. Not because it's the White Sox. It is the White Sox. Spoiler alert. Not because it's the White Sox, but because it's Soriano, who is 5-0 with an 0.24 ERA, and I am genuinely curious to know if you will be backing him today in any way. The Angels are minus 131. The White Sox are plus 109. They're pitching Davis Martin, who's actually been really good this year as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we talk about missing the wave, that's me with Soriano. I've really not been on him at all this year. So if I'm going to make that a gambling commandment, I guess I can't really get on Soriano here in this spot. I will say line seems very short with Soriano being so good and the White Sox only being plus 110. I don't hate the idea of your White Sox here today.
Okay, that's definitely what was speaking to me as well. Pretty hot dudes in this game. Soler, he homered yesterday. Murakami, I think everybody's talking about him at this point. He leads the MLB with 12 home runs. He will obviously be on my card. And then Vargas as well, homered in the 7th inning. So plenty of hot dude options. I don't know if you should go crazy with White Sox hitters against Soriano. I think you're probably asking for pain. So I'll keep it simple. I'll go Murakami, White Sox money line, and also Soler.
I know we were talking about trying to find some walk stuff earlier. I do kind of like Davis Martin walks. He's had 5 starts this year. He's never had more than 2, and he's at a 2.5 line today.
Okay. Yes. Is that our first walk guy?
I think so. Although I'm not seeing his walks available a ton of places. But if we could find him Davis Martin walk, I would like him.
Okay. I'm keeping the chat informed then. So we have from Snowman, pitcher guys. Davis Martin walks, you Savage and Burns case, right?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Diamondbacks, Brewers. There's some good series in MLB this week. Diamondbacks, Brewers is a good time. In Milwaukee, Patrick versus Kelly. Milwaukee is minus 118. Kelly's been awful, 9.31 ERA. Patrick's been pretty solid, 2.35 ERA. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, Kelly's been awful. I don't mind going to Kelly walks either here in this situation. That also looks pretty solid to me. And I don't see him available on the Green Book either for walks. But yeah, Kelly 4 walks, 3 walks in his first 2 starts. He has just not had a great command at the strike zone, and Milwaukee is one of the better walk teams. Another guy I'd be looking at, again listed at 2.5 walks today.
I have a question. If a guy homered in Mexico City, are we calling him a hot dude?
Well, let me answer this question with another question. If you got laid in Las Vegas, would that be counting as a hot dude?
Boss? I have no idea how to answer that question. I was ready to give you a resounding yes, but then I don't think I could say yes to that because the chat's never going to give me never going to let me hear the end of that, dude. You got me. Yeah, you got me flustered. It was an immediate yes until you said, would that count as a hot dude? It's like when your friend says, I'm getting married, and you say, what's his name?
Pretty much, right? I'm starting to date someone. Yeah, what's his name? No, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I just more so it's like,
Can you try re-asking the question?
Okay. If you went to a brothel and got laid, would that count as you being on a heater?
There you go. No. I actually say no.
But I think that's what you got to say for this Mexico City game.
Assuming that it was transactional, right? You're talking about basically you're saying prostitution.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you paid for it, it does not count as you being on a heater. So you just answered my questions. Thank you for that. I will be taking none of the hot dudes on the Arizona Diamondbacks today. Do I think the line looks a little short against the Brewers? Yes. Brewers are miserable to fade, and I will completely pass on this one.
Yeah, I would love to get aboard Kelly walks if I can find it. Other than that, I don't really have too much in this game that I like. Now, just because we're not counting them as hot dudes doesn't mean that some of these Arizona guys can't pop off. But yeah.
Okay. We're doing great. There's just a shit ton of MLB games. So we got 15 minutes. We got 5 games. We'll keep the tempo and pace going. Mariners, Twins, Gilbert versus Ryan. Good pitching matchup, even though neither of the guys have been dominant this year. Minnesota plus 102. I took them yesterday for my Beat the Streak play. Shout out to Beat the Streak. If you're not playing, you absolutely should be. It's free. Literal chance to win $5,000, $2,500 cash, $2,500 prize picks cash. I can't think of one reason that anybody here wouldn't be playing Beat the Streak. Very, very strange.
Yeah. Twins. The records reset in 2 days in May for Beat the Streak. So be aware of that for the new prizes. Will be starting over in 2 days.
A whole new opportunity for new hot dudes. Minnesota plus 102. I thought Minnesota looked short yesterday. I was right. Dare I say Minnesota looks short again, and not that many people would want to go back to the Twins.
Minnesota does look a little bit short, but then again, you also do have Joe Ryan on the mound, who's definitely their best pitcher. It's also Logan Gilbert has really not been that good this year.
No.
I would say of like the aces, like the guys who are like really, really beastly, Gilbert has definitely been struggling. His max strikeouts in any game has been 7. He's given up over 1.5 earned runs 5 out of 6 games. His hits allowed has been over 4.5, 5 out of 6. I mean, I think the line is maybe a little bit fair when you factor it into that aspect, but Seattle obviously is a much better. Well, I don't want to say much better, but I think they have a better roster than Minnesota, who was playing really well a couple weeks ago and has maybe turned it down a little bit. But I do think that the line is not horrible. I think I would lean with Seattle here in this game, actually.
Okay, that's fair. I think it's safe to say Seattle was expected to be much better. Pretty much the same exact roster that went to the ALCS. Nobody expected shit from the Twins. They're just playing pretty similar baseball right now. I'll go against you in this one. I'll roll with the Twins again since they were good to me yesterday. Hot dudes, Byron Buxton. I love backing Byron Buxton off a game where he homered. And then Big Dumper. Big Dumper is an absurdly hot dude. I feel like I don't know if it's 4 out of 5 games, something crazy he's doing. He homered yesterday. I'll definitely go back to him to homer.
Yeah, Raleigh was who I was going to put as the hot dude here for this game. He's been on absolute fire, and he looks good today in this matchup against Joe Ryan. They faced a bunch of times. Now, interestingly, Joe Ryan has faced Raleigh 10 times with 6 strikeouts, but also 3 hits for Raleigh. So it's either striking him out, putting it in play. I think Dumper's due for a home run here.
Cool. I like that. Next game, Yankees-Rangers. Really good pitching matchup. Really good pitching matchup for Dinger Tuesday. Schlittler and DeGrom. Shout out the guy in the cornfields. He put me on the Schlittler Cy Young plus 3,000. He's down to like plus 700. So you can already cash it. WCLV. I've already basically counted that as a win. Yankees, Rangers, great pitching.
It's basically already win. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have a Schlitter future from earlier this year. I found a great arbitrage line where it was like a 10 strikeout differential between 2 different books. And he's probably just going to smoke it and go way over regardless. So,
yeah, 100%.
You Schlitter.
Do you like a side or a pitcher here?
Yeah. I prefer DeGrom in this matchup versus Schlitter. I think that DeGrom has been absolutely on fire. Yankees are a really high strikeout team. Actually, both teams are a really high strikeout team, and I think both guys could pop off. DeGrom had 10 strikeouts in his last game against Pittsburgh. He had 9 in his last game against the Yankees last year. Meanwhile, Schlitter has never faced Texas before, which I love taking guys in that spot. So I might even be on both guys in some capacity. But DeGrom definitely looks really good for how he's pitching to me and this matchup here against the Yankees.
Yeah. Tough game for hot dudes, but still needs to be mentioned. Aaron Judge back to being a hot dude. I think he's homered back-to-back games. Ben Rice has been a hot dude all year, I feel like. Jazz Chisholm.
Ben Rice, hot dude, and DeGrom looks like a very nice matchup for him as well.
So maybe Ben Rice is the guy. I'm totally fine with that. I'll keep betting Aaron Judge until he doesn't homer, but it's not my favorite play today. And then Jock Peterson for the Rangers homered yesterday as well.
Okay.
So your favorite, you like DeGrom, but you also like Rice.
Yes, correct.
Cool. All right, let me see. Let me get it. So I think we got 3 games left. Our tempo and pace is actually, in my opinion, very good. I'll take the glaze from the chat if they want to glaze us a little bit for tempo and pace. Cubs, Padres.
All the Jeff Sunday mustache. It's all the snowman Jeff Sunday mustache.
That's exactly what it is. Cubs, Padres, Cabrera versus Buehler. Padres plus 100 against the Cubs. Is this Cubs respect? Is this the Padres, despite playing really good baseball, not getting any respect? Do you like anything in this game?
Yeah, Cubs have been on fire. I mean, a lot of hot dudes for the Cubs. Buehler definitely is a turkey tosser. I know the Padres ended up winning the game last night with a ton of runs, but I think that the Cubs could definitely stay hot on offense here against Buehler. I don't mind Cubs team total or an over in this game.
You know who I love backing as a hot dude? Seiya Suzuki. He homered. He's absolutely give me a play, Reen. Give me a play. And then you got the grand slam from Ballesteros. Am I saying that right?
Yep, Ballesteros. Did you have no grand slam yesterday?
I got really lucky. It was not a big enough slate to offer it. It was like minus 300, which is hilarious, by the way. So I couldn't really bet it. So I do not, when there's not pretty much near a full slate, I can't bet it.
Yeah. Minus 300 is too hard to play.
Anything in this game, side or total?
You could maybe talk me into another over here in this spot. 8.5 maybe seems a little bit short, but then you also got Cabrera on the mound who gets some respect. So I don't hate the over or just isolate it to Cubs team total over.
Buying hot bats, dude. It's not the worst thing ever. Okay, 2 games left. We're doing fucking great. Thank you again, Snowman, for coming on and filling in for Jeff Sunday. Very much appreciate you.
Thank you, Romano. Hopefully the chat is enjoying the Snowman steak banter.
I think they are, man. Royals, Athletics, Bubic versus Savali. A's minus 102. Not sure what to make of the Royals. I feel like they've been horrendous. I'm not a fan. I think Bobby Witt might have homered in his last game, and one of his is either his first or second homer of the year. I don't like this Royals team at all. I just feel like it's one of those ones where I don't think they're going to have a good year, and trying to time up when they get hot isn't going to go well. Curious to hear your opinion. They had a crazy win, 11-9 in extras last game.
Yeah, I was super high on the Royals heading into the year, and they've just been super disappointing. Just like how Tampa has probably improved the most in terms of like not striking out, the Royals have regressed the most. They were a top 3 team last year and not striking out. This year, they're like a bottom 10 team. They're actually a good team to target. 4 strikeouts. They're not doing a good enough job putting the ball in play. They're not doing a good enough job moving runners over. Their pitching has been a little bit disappointing. I'm definitely disappointed in the Royals to start the year. And the A's, while they're kind of the opposite, where it's like they strike out a lot, they also put the ball in play a lot, and they can be an electric offense at times. Bubic sold for me really hard last game. I had a K-lay where the 2 of the 3 guys hit a max on their Ks. Could have hit a plus 11,000 odds, but Bubic absolutely trash.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't keep up with whatever the chat's fucking talking about. So sorry, I missed the question. I only hot dudes to mention Bobby Witt, who I refused to call a hot dude. I was right. He did homer. And then Jack Kaggs. I know he's probably one of the only baseball players I know where he went to college. Florida Gator. Just got to mention, if you got to mention their Hoosiers, I got to tell you that they're Gators.
Facts.
I wouldn't hate going back to him to homer. I don't like a side or a total in this one.
What do you about Carter Jensen? I know he didn't go yesterday, but he's been hot overall in general for this Royals team.
Is he a rookie?
I think so. He's a catcher, so I don't know if he's a rookie per se, but he wasn't really well known.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. I do not hate that at all. Don't hate that one bit. Matter of fact, I tell you, do you like either of the pitchers?
Not really. I mean, I think both guys have good matchups. Both these teams strike out a lot, but I definitely don't trust Bubic after last game, and Savali feels a little bit high.
God damn, I just saw the question. I think I can say the question. Would you rather a good hand job from your grandma or a bad hand job from your grandma? It's an insane question. It feels a little bit like your Las Vegas question, to be honest. Like, I don't think there's a right way to answer it. How do you answer? There's no right answer for that. Sorry, Chad. I always go back to the brain rot. Yeah, first message he's ever said in here. Honestly, that's absolutely insane question. I will be using that on my friends just to see how it goes.
Yeah, I thought the more common question was like, would you help your uncle jack off a horse? Isn't that the phrasing?
Yeah, I don't know. That's an easy no for me, though. Okay, last game. I don't think it's super interesting. Shohei Ohtani's pitching. The Dodgers are minus 300 against the...
For everyone who's saying, what isn't the line, if you had an Uncle Jack, would you help him off a horse? Isn't that the phrasing?
Oh, would you help your Uncle Jack off a horse? Holy shit, I never heard of that.
I thought that was the one that everyone uses for like the sus questions like that.
Yeah, but that's like wordplay. The guy just said, would you rather a good or bad hand job from your grandma?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just the Degen brain rot that we have here in this stream. It's not the authentic, hard, good, funny wordplay questions.
Degen would be losing his mind right now if I went back and revisited that message. Be losing his mind right now. He'd be like, "Oh my god, you have elementary school humor. This is why you fucking Bievs of the world." He would be going on a fucking tangent right now.
Yeah, I didn't have enough Degen rants for the mustache. I'm sorry, Jeff. I let us mustachioed folks down.
Yeah, I was going to say at the beginning of the show that I needed you to be like the grumpiest version of yourself and also super easy to rage bait, but I forgot to say that, so that's a little bit on me.
All right, I'll go back to the super grumpy version. How can they ban a guy for betting $2.50 on a pitch? You know how much a beer costs at that game? You're spending fucking $18 on one beer. You can't let $18 go on a fucking couple for pitch bets?
I have a really dumb question. Is it illegal to bet on the MLB if you're a college NCAA athlete? It is, right? Or is it against the rules?
I'm not 100% certain. I think they kind of discourage gambling in general, but I don't think they would have gotten him any sort of flack for just betting on MLB.
So it's really the issue. The issue is betting on Indiana. Can't bet at all. Can't bet on any sports book. Okay, good to know. He might be fucked, man. The more I've let this simmer and done 2 hours of the show, I'm thinking he might be fucked.
If he were worse, he would be fucked. But he's such a big name guy on a big name program right now that I do think that this is like they got out in front of it. He has healed. He has rehabilitated. He's giving a $50,000 donation to Gamblers Anonymous. Blah blah blah. I still think he plays this year.
Okay, fair take. Last game, Dodgers -300. Shohei sold all the home run parlays I saw because people were taking Ben Rice, Murakami, and Shohei parlayed, and Ben Rice and Murakami hit. Shohei sold everyone.
I had a Rice Murakami Muncie parlay. So similar, same, but different, but still losing.
Similar result. Well, do you like anything in this game, and do you think it would be kind of hilarious if the Shohei then homers today?
I would think it's hilarious, but is he hitting because he's pitching today?
Completely ignore me. I literally just said he was pitching and totally forgot that I said he was pitching. Just completely ignore me. The only button that there could be to press in this game is Marlins money line. Yeah, I know, Phils. I'm an idiot. I literally said he was pitching and then talked about him hitting.
I mean, that's definitely the contrarian sharp side of it. I certainly agree you can't really get involved with the Dodgers -300. Even as a parlay piece, that feels pretty fat. But Ohtani should definitely shove here.
They literally needed a bottom of the ninth, not miracle, but comeback to win yesterday. They were very similar line yesterday in this game.
It's true.
Marlins might be worth a little sprinkle. I'm not telling anyone to put their rent money on it or anything, but a little sprinkle on the Marlins money line, I do not think it's all that crazy. Do you know yesterday the Marlins had a win probability of 92.9% and lost?
Sounds about right. They were up 3 or 2 in the ninth with nobody on.
4-2. Exactly.
4-2. Yeah, it's a bad loss. That could be a loss though that the Dodgers are able to get some momentum off of though. You know, the ninth inning comeback, get hot, moving into the next day.
Yeah, you could definitely
demoralizing for the Marlins. Then they go out, maybe party a little bit in LA. You never know what could happen.
Yeah. Okay, I hit him with a quick recap, and then we'll wrap it up.
Let's do it.
From what I understand, we both like Gunnar Henderson. You like Chase Burns and Trey Savage K's. Davis Martin walks. Any other plays you want to give out that you like so far, or you want to wait?
I liked Merrill Kelly walks. I liked DeGrom K's. I liked Braves team total or some Braves hitters. I think I liked.
Yep. Olsen, by the way, Braves hot dude. Matt Olsen.
There was one more hitter I thought that I really liked. Oh, Cubs team total over, I said.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of good spots there.
Okay, perfect. We're going back to Torkelson, Gunnar Henderson, like we said, Kyle Schwarber, Murakami, and
Ben Rice. We also liked Rice. Yes.
Ben Rice. Yep. And Byron.
We should cook up a home run lay right now.
Okay, so it sounds like how many? 3 guys?
I'm down for 3.
Okay, so Ben Rice sounds
especially because anyone who's here who has the blue book will get a risk-free home run bet today. So that could be fun if you guys want to tail us here.
Dinger Tuesday. Okay, Ben Rice, Gunnar Henderson.
Rice and Henderson, I'm down.
Okay, you pick the third.
Do we click and pray with our GOAT Murakami?
I'm not mad about that at all if you put Murakami in there.
I'm down.
Henderson, Rice, Murakami. That's official. All right, Snowman. I'm going to wrap it up. It's 12:01. Great tempo and pace. Like I said, you're the GOAT. I really appreciate you coming on, filling in when Jeff Sunday isn't here. Would love to have you back anytime. Any parting words for the folks?
It was great to be on. Would definitely love to come back another time. Let me know if you guys want the mustache to return. Was it help fill the void of no Jeff Sunday, seeing the porn stash of the Snowman? But it's definitely great to be on. Thank you for having me on, and let's win some bets today, everybody.
Yes, sir. See you next time.
Peace. Am I still on the screen? Am I still live? I don't know if I don't think I can end the stream here. Scoots here. All right, Snowman taking over. It's my stream now. All right, let's talk about some Kurt Signetti action. Charlie Becker, Nick Marsh, about to be the top 2 receivers in the draft next year. This is just time for Indiana propaganda. Who is ready to go all in on IU next season? All in on IU next season. Plus 700 is the nuke of all time. I would like anybody here to tell me why Indiana isn't going to win the national championship this year when they have improved at almost every position with the exception of quarterback. Josh Hoover is still a GOAT. Yeah, Steak forgot he had to end the stream. I guess it's always Jeff or Goots who does it. Let me text them. Yeah, Jewel break.
Oh, did I leave you up here?
You did. We've been talking about Indiana football for a little bit with the chat.
Dude, what the fuck? I pressed end stream.
I just texted you. I said I can't end the stream. We're talking about IU football.
Dude, Joey Dumps just called me and said that I left. He's like, dude, you left Snowman up there. It said we didn't go left. Okay, I'm going to try it again. Stay with me. It might not work. We might be gone. Nope.
Maybe it's Goose who has to end.